clouded dreams, so lift your head up, come up clean and static. You were a wild thing, pretending to be tame. I was a wild thing, trapped inside a cage. I wasn't looking for deliverance when you walked in from the wilderness. I was yours and you were mine, but everything returns on time to the static.
All right, what's going on, everyone? How y'all doing tonight? Good to see we've got a few hundred of you already in here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and turn down the music just a tad bit more. Actually, I could just do it through OBS probably. So go ahead there and get the desktop audio a little bit down. All right, guys, what's going on? Glad to have you all on the live stream. I'll go ahead. I'm thinking, just tell me if the music sounds good. But anyways, happy to have you guys on the live stream tonight. I've been wanting to do one for a while. I think it's been over 2 weeks since we've done a live stream because I've been doing all my traveling, going to all my different conventions, and it's fun to do this comparative to just doing videos when I get the opportunity to. All right, thank you guys very much for all the kind comments. Appreciate it. So I want to do something a little bit different tonight. I'm going to run through some things, and then I'm thinking about doing this afterwards. I was thinking on the live streams to kind of spin things up a little bit. You know, we do a lot of, chat requests and everything. Oh my God, Raphael already hitting it up. Yeah, Raphael, it's the same thing for me. I'm not a consensus, sadly. Wish I was able to make it, but in regards to consensus, I thought I was going to be booked during the time consensus was happening with another event, and it turns out that I was actually free and it was too late for me to get tickets. So next year I'll be going to consensus, but I needed some time anyways to catch up on some things and also do some live streaming with you guys. Anyways, so I want to spend some time to do something a little bit different today, to not only get the Discord alive a little bit more, but also to have you guys on and give you a little bit of a voice in all this. We really have a good time here on the live stream. We get hundreds, if not thousands, of people tuning in on the live stream or watching it later on the DataDash channel. So because of that, I thought we might as well open up the floor to some really interesting discussion. So what I want you all to do, if you guys are open to it, and if you guys have mics, feel free to hop into the general chat of our Discord here. As you can see, we've got our Discord chat right here, and you guys are welcome to hop in. And if you guys want, I'll drag in random people. Just make sure you've got a mic, and I'll drag you guys into a live stream chat channel that's private, where you can come in and possibly be on the chat. So make sure, if you haven't already, join our Discord, guys. It's down in the description. Should just be discord.gg/DataDash or something like that. Either way, hope you guys can get on there. It's a great community either way, if you have a mic or don't have a mic. And we might even pull some questions from the text channel as well in there. But anyways, so let's go ahead and dive right into this, guys. Don't want to push it off any longer. Generally speaking, market has been, over the past few hours, obviously taking a little bit of turnover. This is obviously looking a little more like what I feared it might be the other day, a dead cat bounce. The question is, though, is whether or not we're going to hold on the 50-day moving average. I have a feeling we're most likely, because of the turnover here, going to break through the 50-day and come down to $8,000 for Bitcoin. Seems like it would make sense because this has acted as previous support. If we were to hold 8,000, that would be nice. But again, I think the more bearish case is the case that this would drop below it. I genuinely don't see it happening, guys. There's too much momentum behind the scenes right now for me to believe that. But I wouldn't have a hard time believing we'd go to 8,000. I just don't think we're going to go down to the 6,000 range that many bears have been talking about in regards to this market. As much as, it might look good in regards to possibly a sway in price action here, kind of coming down at that support level. But again, it'd be really, really difficult to do that in this kind of climate where the altcoin market is starting to ramp up, where ICOs are falling tons of money. OTC is massive right now. But anyways, going along that, you guys already know my general stance on things. Hasn't changed too much over the past few hours. I don't move my mind over a few percentage points, but I play neutral on the technical analysis, and at this moment, we are in a neutral zone until we get back up above 9,000. That's when we go back into bull market. That's when altcoins start to really, really ramp up. But for those of us who are on that side, on the optimistic side, as much as we're remaining neutral, we have to play our cards for both ways. If we believe that this is going to go up and that this is going to hold on the 50-day moving average, this is where we want to start looking for good plays in the market. So I'm going to go ahead and run through some protocols, not only that I'm interested in, but also ones that people have asked me about. There's a lot of protocols that I'm going to be talking about that I usually don't get to talk about on my daily updates because we usually cover market leaders or ones that are more just generally commonly known or traded. So we're going to start off with probably the most popular one right now, which is EOS. Now, EOS has become one of the larger players in the market, but that doesn't mean it itself is not open to an opportunity to continue climbing. We're going to go through here. Nick, I will answer your question. What are your feelings with Power Ledger? I think Power Ledger itself is interesting. The question is whether or not they can actually get the partnerships. Again, this is one of those infrastructure plays where you have an interesting use case for blockchain, which is obviously energy management trading. And in this case, I just genuinely don't know if Power Ledger is continuing to get the developments they are. They're well placed because of Gemma Green, who works as the head of the project last time I checked. So in that case, I'm interested in that. And I love my Aussies, so I got to give a little bit of credit there. But in the case where you're looking for leadership, she is definitely a good figure because she has previous experience in governance. Just to let you guys know, though, for super chats, this shows you I'm not shilling for cash. I would wait to do donations in a bit because we're going to run through these protocols here, and I won't be able to answer those super chats. But afterwards, I'll definitely be open to answering some questions. All right, so let's go ahead and run through some of these protocols here, guys. First one I want to focus on is EOS. Now, this has been one that has been showing more of an obvious pattern, I think, than most players right now. We obviously had the parabolic exponential run-up and the hype going into all of the announcements, Dawn 4.0, and all the new exciting features that are going to be coming as we look towards mainnet. I can tell you guys there's a lot of things happening under the surface with EOS that is highly impressive. I've gotten to meet some people along the way through my convention, the different conventions and conferences I've gone to that are really optimistic on a fundamental sense. Putting that all aside, though, now that we know the fundamentals are pretty strong, I want to talk about what's obviously showing here. Well, I genuinely think that the zone to look for an addition to EOS, at least this is what I'm doing personally. Again, you got to decide for yourself. The question that I'm asking for is if price is going to come back down to this range of 130,000 to 140,000 Satoshis. Seems like the best bet. Why is that? Well, because you've got previous resistance, which tends to become new support. And anything generally in that range will act as a key indicator that that previous resistance is being recognized. If it's right here, if it's right here, it doesn't have to be exact, guys. It's not going to be on the penny in regards to that, or the Satoshi in this case. But this is much needed because you've not only had an exponential run up, but you've also got the 50-day moving average coming down, possibly acting as a level of support for that. And the reason I'm going to say that, much like how we talked about previous resistance becoming new support, we can see sometimes that this doesn't just happen on price in regards to price levels. This sometimes happens with indicators that move, like the moving averages. We have the 50-day moving average, which acted as a resistance point until we got above it and were able to continue the momentum. You can see there was really multiple rejection points down here. And now I think that it's going to act as a level of support for a few days. So that's my plan, EOS. I'm waiting for it to come in this zone. Could even dip a little bit below the 50-day. Doesn't matter. You sometimes have breakout points against the 50-day or certain price levels, but it still acts as resistance because it closes below that level or above that level in the case of what we're looking for. Oh, interesting. Eduardo, this is actually a good question. As much as I want, again, yes, to wait off on the questions a little bit. In regards to finding out about new protocols, you really just got to do your research. You got to get in lots of groups, guys. The major thing that I do is I've built up a network, not like some other people. Some people have really crazy networks in the crypto space. For me, though, I keep active in the Discord, keep active in the Telegram. I reach out to my community, hear what they think is going on. Some people spend a lot of in-depth time researching trading. Some people look up fundamentally good projects. And what I do is I take what they say with a grain of salt and I look into it for myself if something catches my eye. But along that as well, I just keep up to date with a lot of people who are actively looking in the ICO space to see what's up and coming in regards to protocols. It's what you got to do unless you want to buy something when it's way overpriced on exchange. But anyways, let's see here. So let's go ahead here, take a look through a few more protocols, run through them. Another one I was thinking about that I haven't talked about is Qtum. Now this is a little bit more bearish, guys. In regards to Qtum, you've seen consistent rejection at the 200-day. We got above there, could not hold it, and faltered right back down, and are now getting rejection at the 50-day again. The only level that I'm looking to possibly get interested in Qtum, and it's pretty far away, is down here around 150,000 Satoshis. And if I were to get some kind of position in that range, my stop would probably be around 125,000 Satoshis as well. So just want to point that out in regards to that. Alrighty, so going through here, we're gonna no pun intended, we're gonna dash through these protocols and to hopefully give you guys some oversight on where I think on a lot of other projects that I'll talk about. Nulls right here doing exactly what I was thinking. I was hoping it would do is the cup and the handle. This is gonna take probably 2, 3, or 4 days, guys. Might take a week. That's just how TA works. You need a cooldown, and if it solidifies there, I bet you will see an increase in volume in some way, shape, or form. That's usually what tends to happen. Pyken came in. Thank you very much, Pyken. I appreciate it. Consensus is nothing more than a trade show. Yeah, I gotta tell you guys, one thing that I'm getting tired of with conventions is how many ICOs are there and how much noise there is, and just also it's things like consensus, they seem so corporate. I'm not about that. This is about decentralization. It's about local people coming together and just, you know, getting behind this cause. Even though you're going to have the corporate side, obviously, in this movement. The institutional side, I guess other people will call it. But very good point, Pike, and I agree with that to a pretty large extent. All right, let's go ahead here, take a look at Icon. Icon, another favorite of ours, in the South Korean play at the moment. South Korea's Icon looking very nice in regards to TA right now. Again, what we're seeing across the board, guys, is many people are yelling about alt season not happening or it's not here yet. Guys, a lot of the signs are showing for this in regards to TA as a trader. I'm not trying to be biased on this. Again, you guys know I'm optimistic long term, but I can be a bear too in these markets. The problem is that not only is volume holding relatively steady, whereas it was pretty stagnant back in March, but you can see we've got the cup, the handle, support on the 50-day, previous support level. That is almost a perfect cup and handle, only for the fact that the run-up came a little bit higher than the previous high. Usually you want it to stop there, have the handle, and then continue, but it's not a set rule. So long as you have a general cup and price action, a falter back, and even a support on the 50-day moving average, that's a nice play there. No complexity of indicators, guys. It's a matter of coming back up, and really to see this continue riding to higher levels is if it's going to get above this resistance level here, which was the previous peak. So we can go ahead here, draw across the line, and we can see this was not only resistance there, but it was also resistance back here as well. So this is a really key level. It's possibly why it tested up a little bit higher. So we have to wait and see if this is going to start curving back up and get above 5,000 Satoshis. So going on here, climbing through a few more different protocols in the market. ADA providing a nice discount compared to where it was a few weeks ago with this pullback recently. Volume has been short on the selling side. It's been big on the buy side. And we're even taking a look at Bittrex, guys. Take a look at Binance. Look at those buy candles that came in. Who do you think's buying down here? It's the whales, it's the institutions, it's the big players, because they buy low, they don't buy high, they buy low at these prices. And during these corrective periods, they get in as well, guys. So again, you got to assess for yourself if you like ADA, but these are the kind of moments where you look for cheap protocols that are holding at support levels and holding on the 50-day, showing that they're ready to continue carrying momentum. Alrighty. Going on here to a love-or-hate play, Tron. Now, here's the thing, guys. Whether you like it fundamentally or not, Tron does provide a lot of good trading opportunities. So what I'm looking for Tron here is that if it's going to continue expanding and obviously retest possibly towards these December and January highs, I think the next best spot to look for a potential trade is down in this range around 650 to 700 Satoshis. And if it were to falter through, I'd probably set, I forgot to mark it on the chart here, my apologies on that. I would generally set my stop, or excuse, yeah, my stop loss right here at this level here. Go ahead and select the right color. Around 550, I'll draw that down to about 550 as an even, 550 Satoshis. And the reason I'd say that is because if you get Tron really breaking below this level, which shows the levels of previous resistance, it's obviously not making it support. So in that case, I'll give it a little bit of room to go down, possibly find some more support somewhere, maybe at a previous level that I'm not seeing. and then possibly climb up. But this is a nice discount comparative to paying 1,000 plus Satoshis for Tron. If you can get it down there, you're getting it at a pretty nice discount. In this range, anywhere from 30% to, I guess, I'm not doing my math exactly correctly, but somewhere in the mid 30% range. So very nice discount for a market momentum play like Tron, which again, as we've seen in the past, can move up very, very quickly. And going on here, taking a look at a few more protocol plays. Lisk here. Lisk, again, I want this to move, and obviously we know about the channel that this thing rides, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the weekly here. We know this is generally how you play it, guys. You wait for it on the bottom area here. Historically, it's been a successful play, and then after that, you're hoping for an even higher exponential return. It depends on Lisk if it has good fundamentals and if the market can get into a bull cycle. But I'm thinking you're possibly going to get one more retest down here on the line to solidify price strength confirmation and that the indicator of price in regards to the expanding channel is in play here. So if we get a touchdown there again, a test above the 200-day and 50-day as they're coming close together, I think you're going to possibly get a breakout above it. But not doing that until I get the big breakout candle, the big green candle we usually see off of these with high levels of volume. That would be where I'd feel very safe trading this. All right, taking a look at NIM. I gotta tell you guys, in a fundamental sense, I've gotten a lot more excited about NIM. I went to a conference recently in the Philippines, and I actually got to meet some guys from the NIM team who were sponsors there. It was really, really interesting to learn some different factors about NIM I didn't know about. And the project itself is much more fundamentally built than I thought it was originally. So let's go ahead here. I think actually I'm going to get off at Poloniex because they've got a missing Dave trade volume. But as we can see here, NIM is building a long-term line of support even with all these crazy peaks in price. And again, it shows you NIM can run just like any other protocol as much as it's one of the larger players. I mean, to get it at 4,000 Satoshis, go to 12,000, that's a 3x comparative to Bitcoin, guys. And it's done that historically 2 times. Now, again, who knows if it's going to happen again, but I got to tell you guys, on a fundamental sense, NIM is one of the leading protocols from what I've actually seen. They have a lot of easy onboarding. I don't have any major stake in NIM, to be fair with you all. Again, I want to remain transparent, but I've definitely looked at adding it when I start seeing the momentum come in. And if it continues to hold this, I have no reason not to possibly look at getting a position long term. But at the moment, I haven't made my moves. Haven't gotten balls deep into NIM yet. I'm definitely keeping an eye on it though. All right, let's go ahead here. Aeon BTC, taking a look here on Binance. This is one that had grown some interest for me, but at the moment is not doing what I thought it would do in regards to well, did have a cup and price and continue climbing, but this has started to oh, actually did we get another donation from Raphael? I just want to make sure I don't miss that. I apologize, Raphael. Let's see real quick. Tron is my largest position. Yes, Raphael, that would explain why you can always make donations, man. You must have gotten in into both Verge and Tron, I would assume, or Ripple. But anyways, yes, no, yeah, Tron it's a momentum player, guys. You can't deny it. If you're a trader, again, I split my opinions. I have fundamental opinions and I have trader opinions. And as a trader, you can't be biased against good opportunities of trading, whether or not you like the project or not. I've heard some people argue, even though Tron, they have a lot of things you can joke about. It's kind of like the Bitcoin Cash of altcoins. You can give it a lot of crap. And you can say, oh, they sold, what was it? What was the thing they said there was an announcement of an announcement. That was the whole meme that kind of broke out of it. I mean, here's the thing, though. I don't know enough to really give it a hard time. So because of that, I can't really talk about it on a fundamental sense. I think there was a lot of overhyping going with it, but I know that hype can sometimes provide good trading opportunities. So, and guys, real quick, I appreciate it. MNK, I'll look at Genesis Vision possibly soon. Don't have too much thoughts on it at the moment. And then also DTA. Let me see, is DTA a traded currency right now? No. Coin Collector, I'll definitely consider taking a look at DTA later. But sorry, I gotta run through these protocols, guys. If you're just tuning in, we're going through a little bit of the protocols in the market at the moment. Aeon, though, no definite trend. This looks like it could even possibly come back down if we do get a continued correction in the market down to the bottom, to double bottom around 2,500 Satoshis, which is, if I'm right, where it started out after it got its exchange listing, which would be awesome. A triple bottom would be nice for some potential upside. All right, let's go ahead through some bigger ones here. Neo, take a look at the giant Neo. Oof. Guys, I like Neo. I like Neo, and I was hoping that this wouldn't be the case, but it looks like we are repeating history with price action. So with Neo, what we're seeing right now is that Neo, as much as I've made addition to Neo, it's my first small one that I made a few weeks back. I'm a little bit down on. I think I got in around 8 million Satoshi, or sorry, 800,000 Satoshis. I always do that with Neo. Anyways, with Neo, we're seeing exactly what we saw in the past. So I'm not going to do any crazy TA, guys. It's price patterns that we've seen before. So let me, actually, you know what? I'm not even going to draw lines. I'm going to get a little bit scribbly with it, guys, just for time's sake, because TradingView's lines aren't very easy to just draw one after the other. So as we go here to the brush, we have exactly the same general price movement. We have the initial downtrend, an initial rebound, downtrend, possible rebound, and downtrend. So now we're repeating the same thing. We have large initial downtrend, first initial rebound, downtrend, possibly to lower levels, possibly one more rebound, and then one lower level. What do I think that's going to be? I think it's going to be right here. I think it's going to be at this level of resistance in the past. I know it sounds crazy to say Neo that Neo's going to go to such a discount, but I have no doubt in my mind with an increasing Bitcoin and also the competing protocols in the space that Neo could possibly, sorry, my mic was in the way, that Neo could possibly come down to these levels. Again, I have a feeling it's going to repeat history, and that would be a doubling on the support of what was previously there, 100% from previous support in the past. So could be what's happening with Neo. Again, the returns are very exponential in these market, guys, but also the losses as well. That's just how crypto works. So we're going to stick to that for now. That's my general kind of game plan on Neo, and we'll have to see if it sticks to it. That's not going to, I'm not going to add exactly 400,000 Satoshis. I'll probably add a little bit earlier, but that's where I generally think support is going to come in. Pundex, I like Punday a little bit. The objectives of Pundex are nice, but it's not something I've invested in personally. INS ecosystem or 10x. I don't know enough about INS. I'm assuming if you're saying or 10x, it's probably the card payment solutions. And there's still a very big central point of failure, which is that they rely on some partner of Visa or MasterCard. And because of that, I'm not investing in any right now. I think QR codes are the future, guys, because you see them being used in China extensively. As much as it feels nice to use a card nowadays, I think our generation's going to get very comfortable, or at least where cryptos are actually going to be adopted first, people are relatively comfortable with the QR code. And they'll get more comfortable with it as crypto grows, in my opinion. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at Neblio here. Neblio, as you all know, is one of my favorites for the long term. As you all know, I think that Neblio is going to probably be around probably a top 20 or 30 cryptocurrency by the end of this bull cycle. And because of that, we've got a lot of room to go. I think we're actually going to see a full cupping and price action back up to the highs here in December and January. So what's nice here is that we've got a nice correction, a nice flag and price action after almost a cupping in the price action. And as we go here to the weekly, we can see the longer term trend hopefully playing out. I want to see this continue to climb up. If we can get this back up to 200,000 Satoshis. In that matter, I think this is going to confirm that this will revisit back up to the highs around 400 to 450,000 Satoshis. But until then, I'm staying neutral. I got my position in Neblio. You guys know I'm long term on it. So in that case, I'm going to remain patient. Zidu, I talked about Zebi the other day. It was one of my top 300 valued cryptocurrency projects. You definitely should watch that if you don't know much on Zebi. Didn't go into too extensive of detail, if you already know the serious stuff. Raphael says China is already all over the WeChat QR code for payments, but I'd take a second look at Neblio's tech, kind of meh. Well, Raphael, I guess in the sense that Neblio, to go on your first point, yes, that is absolutely true. It's the point I really want to drill in, guys, how QR codes are the mainstream thing in China. Alipay, all of the major payment systems in China use QR codes. It's a very, very common system. It's very efficient too. If you've ever done a real, I'm curious, I'd love to have a show of hands. I know I can't see you guys. I'd love to see how many people have done an actual Bitcoin transaction, like off like a mobile wallet or something. Because I do it all the time. Like whenever I meet new people, I'll send them some Bitcoin. If I can shop anywhere with Bitcoin, I do it. Again, it's very convenient. It's very fun. And the QR codes are, they have an infinite amount of individual QR codes, so you can make any type of payment to any address, as well as any payment amount. So let's say I'm a retailer, for example, and I'm charging you, maybe I charge you for an exclusive feature in the DataDash community. I would hold up my QR code for my receive address, and it would have a specific QR that has the certain dollar amount or Bitcoin amount. Let's say I want $10 worth of Bitcoin, or I want 0.01 BTC, whatever it is. I could hold it up, and you can scan my QR code, and it instantly within your wallet brings up my address as well as the amount you would have to pay me for this, and then you can click confirm. Confirm. It's really cool. I mean, it's a nice feature. But anyways, Neblio in regards to tech. Again, I'm no developer, guys, but from what I've seen with the libraries that they have, the language flexibility, the ease of onboarding with their university system, I think it's one of the best protocols, at least at its current valuation. Again, we're at a war with protocols right now, guys. That's the main objective here in regards to the investment side. And I'll say that a lot of protocols, even like Neblio and so many others, they're all hitting the same issues. The issues of generally scalability, but also making smart contracts and dApps useful, flexible, fixing the Oracle issue for smart contracts, which is again why I brought up Chainlink in my recent video. Again, project that I really like in regards to fixing that issue. There's not too many focusing on it. And unless we fix these major issues, guys, we're not going to actually see these protocols being used. It's a very big point of honesty to bring up in regards to this space, because protocols aren't that useful right now. The infrastructure can only be useful if you fix the roadblocks getting in the way of them on a fundamental sense. So, we got proof of authority got on Bitfinex. That's interesting. Well, we want to take a look here on Binance because we want some more price action. So we can see here that just like a lot of other protocols, proof of authority got a nice correction here. It's been having a nice steady uptick over the past few weeks here. So nothing really bearish to say in regards to Horizon. Oh, sorry, not Horizon. Sorry, someone just mentioned Horizon. I'll dive into that in just a second. Just want to finish POA here. In regards to proof of authority, coming down hopefully on that 50-day moving average, as we've seen support here in the past, and as this is provided around 7,000 Satoshis as a level of support, this could mean that we go to higher levels. Again, previous resistance became new support. Previous resistance over here can become the new level of support, especially after you've had a correction of 3,000 Satoshis, 30%, not bad. So in that case, I'll keep an eye on proof of authority, but no moves yet out of what I've already held in proof of authority. Matthew, 1802, Horizon State just signed a deal that is expected to have 40 to 90 million votes on Ethereum this year. They don't really market just B2B. It's a 21 million market cap. How do you foresee their long-term outlook? It's interesting you asked that, Matthew, because I know about Horizon State. I actually got to meet one of the head guys from Horizon State in Melbourne, Australia. It was an interesting project. It seemed like they were serious. Again, when I meet people at these events, I can either read that someone's trying to build something realistic and valuable, or someone's just trying to BS and build the next big ICO and raise a ton of capital. Horizon State gave me a very good impression. I like the individual I met. I'll be honest, I'm terrible with names, so I can't recollect on it right now. But it was at a nice small event and stuff. I got to meet him, and he was really interesting. Again, the concept of Horizon State, building voting and governance system for governance systems on the blockchain, is a really interesting idea. But I'd have to go through and do a little bit more research before I could talk on Horizon State. It's good to hear, though, that they're going to have that voting system. Bitcoin's booth dominance in consensus was 0.5%. Wow. 0.5% for the largest cryptocurrency. Well, I guess it's because they're not raising $100 million in capital. I'm going to do a video, guys, talking about the kind of range of capital that's being raised in the ICO space as well soon. So I think you guys will like that, just to get a perspective of what I mean when I'm saying institutions and big money is getting in. It's crazy stuff. All right, so we only got a few more players here. We got through all the protocols. Let's go ahead and take a look at 3 more market players that people love to keep on top of. Omise Go here. As we can see, Omise Go is actually providing a pretty decent discount actually from where it was back in mid-April, trading around 220,000 Satoshis down to around 160,000. And as this is going down below the 50-day moving average, I think you're possibly going to see this go a little bit further. And if we could get this down at around 140,000 Satoshis, the 200-day moving average, that would be my level to watch this one. No big movements right now because this looks like it's generally curving over in momentum. All right, let's take a look at a few more. Wanchain, BTC, Wanchain. Oh, look at that. It's coming very close to that 50-day moving average. Momentum player here. Watch for the 50-day. And along with that as well, that possible level of support that we could retest. This reminds me of Omise Go a lot, guys, as we were just taking a look at. If you go back and look at Omise Go's old price action, I have a memory of some specific price action, but I generally want to see this pull again, corrections where it comes back down to previous level of support. That would be very, very nice. Just reminds me of the days how this thing, Wan Chain, has been an absolute machine. So hopefully we'll see it come down to that 50-day. All right, let's take a look at two more Ontology BTC. Ontology holding up there, guys. This needs to go through a bigger correction. It needs to come down to previous resistance at 7,000 Satoshis and line up with that 50-day. Again, the stars are aligning in a lot of these players. Not too difficult to spot. If this keeps climbing, though, again, the possible reward to the risk that you're facing, guys, I generally just don't see it at this moment as a possible trade, but again, it's my opinion on it. You gotta see it for yourself and think for yourself as well. XVG BTC, the last one we're taking a look at is Verge. Again, another controversial player, but we know as traders we're looking for momentum here, and Verge is obviously one of those. Well, with Verge at practically a 50% discount comparative to Bitcoin from its crazy highs towards that awesome partnership that it landed. Hope you can read my sarcasm. Well, some people, I guess, would defend it. And the whole thing about Verge, no matter how you feel on it, guys, it is in what I would consider my buy zone, personally for me. I look as an individual, as a trader, for 50% discounts, for areas where it could possibly be garnering support on the 200-day moving average, and also is at previous levels of support. And we can see down here that all three of those factors are coming in. We've got a 50% plus discount, more if you consider the Wixes, and then also key level support, and the 200-day rising up. The stars are aligning. I look for that as a trader. And these are my levels, of course, that I've talked about, selling 40% at around 1,000 Satoshis and 60% at around 1,300. So again, haven't engaged on it, but it's still in that buy zone, so I might consider getting in soon. It's looking nicer and nicer as it comes down to test that 200-day. I think that's what I'm going to wait for. So, alrighty, guys. Man, what a mouthful. I need to take a sip of tea. A lot of productive stuff in a few minutes there. It was really good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and answer this one donation here real quick. What do you think? What do you make of the 15-minute bear flag on Litecoin to USD? Well, I usually don't look in the USD valuation, nor do I usually look for flags. I don't see so much of a flag here. This was possibly a flag, but in this case it broke down. So Julio, I think this again, generally Litecoin is keeping in line with coming back down to the lower $100 range, in my opinion. It doesn't look like it's ready to break out just yet. Actually, you can possibly expand this a little bit more. That's more in line with the Wixes. So I think I'd give Litecoin some time before I expect to break out. All right, guys, so let's go ahead here. I appreciate if you guys want to toss in some donations. I'll try to read and catch up on them. But what I want to do now is I want to invite you guys to join in the Discord here. So again, if you guys have any interest in doing a possible hop into the live stream, talking about a few things, asking some questions, love to have you in, and we can definitely talk about it. So again, how you join, you can type in ! Discord, or you can go down in the description and join through the link. We'll start in just about a minute, but I'll go ahead here and I'm going to take a little bit of a breather, get a little bit of a drink as well. But yeah, if you guys have anything interesting, again, no shilling of projects, more kind of bigger questions, and I would say as well to possibly bring up anything in regards to possible charts that you're interested in, we can take a look. Go through and read some of the chat here. Well, Mido, you're right. Litecoin is getting added to Gemini. Litecoin, Zcash, as well as Bitcoin Cash. You really only had two options on Gemini, which are Bitcoin and Ethereum, because just like Coinbase, they are keeping relatively protected, being an actual. I'm trying to think of the actual legal term. I don't know why I can't think of it. Well, basically, they're trying to follow securities law, okay? And in that case, they're going about listing extra coins, and they want to make sure that they're licensed to do so. And luckily, what's nice is they were actually the first to list Zcash, which is really, really interesting. And you can see that the top gainer is obviously Zcash. Pretty much added 50% evaluation off of that alone. It shows you the power of some of these exchanges. Alrighty, guys, let's see if the Discord. We got some people coming in the Discord. All right, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead here and I'm gonna bring in some classics and some favorites that I trust here, and we can get a discussion going. Well, actually, you know what we could do is we could actually have multiple people. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna bring in Colm as well as PyCon if they're down with it. If not, I'll drag them back in. Now I have to see if I'll be able to drag them down. Okay, there we go. Hey, Colm. Actually,
how's it going, Nick?
Hey, Colm, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome stuff, man. All right, I'm gonna drag you and PyCon in, and also we can get Chef in here as well.
Yeah, that sounds great. I think PyCon's AFK at the moment, though.
Oh, yes, okay. Yeah, so we got not only an active mod, we got Chef in here. How you doing, Chef?
Hey, hey.
Can you guys hear Chef and them all good? I'm gonna actually turn down the music.
I'll turn down my, put my headset on here so you guys don't get a feedback. There we go.
Yep, I can hear everybody loud and clear.
Awesome stuff. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, how are you?
Good, yeah. I'm just happy to do a live stream and stuff. It's been a few days and stuff, so I thought it'd be good to spice up a little bit. I'm trying to get some new things because I think we're going to be doing the podcast series soon. And outside of that, I would love to get possibly some new things added to the live streams generally. So just thought I might try this and stuff because I've seen some people do it with Discord before.
Yeah, why not?
So, Chef,
Got it. How was your trip? How was your trip to Dubai? Did you get to meet John McAfee and everybody?
No, actually, I didn't get to meet McAfee. I was so upset about that. There was speculation that he possibly wouldn't have been coming to the event, and I heard that early on from the event coordinator, but it was like 50-50. And sadly, he didn't end up coming. But I did get to meet Box Mining. I got to meet Superman, who I had actually originally met in London, and then also I got to meet Shosh from Altcoin Buzz. So it was pretty nice. I had a good time getting to meet them, spend some time with them. And again, I think everyone always judges the YouTubers, and including myself. Some people say this when they're like, "Oh, I get to meet you for the first time, Nick." Like, you know, I always wonder what you were like off camera, and you get to learn that all the YouTubers are just like myself. They're the same exact person, or well, actually, I'd say they're the same exact person off camera, but you also get this personal touch to it. They're really, really nice people for the most part. So I really had a good time hanging out with them. I hope to see them around and stuff. But anyways, yeah, so I had a great time. Sadly, no McAfee, and both Dubai and the Philippines were awesome. So I'm hoping to go back.
From a subpoena this morning?
Wait, he's running from a subpoena?
I think McAfee's running from a subpoena this morning, I think.
I saw some tweet about, there was something about, because I get alerts for McAfee's tweets, and there was one thing, I didn't get to actually look at the tweet, but it was like something like McAfee, yeah, it was like something McAfee broke the law.
Yeah, like he's being served, they went after, the SEC served subpoenas today to a bunch of, I don't know, a bunch of people, and supposedly he's one of them, so his team, I don't know if it's like, is he trying to get a reality series going or something? Because or he's just done way too much stuff, because his outlook of paranoia, like, it's just unbelievable. The guy was sitting in an interview I watched the other day. He had a side piece on him in the armchair.
Really?
I went to a cryptocurrency convention in San Francisco, and I saw someone that looked just like him, and I came up to him. I was like, "John McAfee, is that you?" And then it was just some random person.
Okay. Yeah, no, the thing about McAfee and stuff, you know, I think there's always going to be good and bad with people and everything. The good with McAfee is he fits the cake for what crypto is about, especially at its core philosophy. You know, you think crypto, you kind of think kind of libertarian, anarcho, kind of out of the box kind of individuals. And McAfee definitely, he sells that position. He sells kind of the outcast who's challenging the system. And I think McAfee, again, he has a lot of positive things to him. He's a very successful person in regards to McAfee security systems. You know, it's very, very humble to have built such a large antivirus company and sell it for, you know, I think at the time he had sold it for, I think he got a few $100 million out of it, but he sold it for a few billion.
He was worth 450 million, and he dropped down to 4 million. So
Yeah.
That's a lot of partying.
Yeah, and then there's that, and then you have the controversial side, which is his stuff and
yeah.
beliefs. But the bad side that I'd say with McAfee, and I mean, I'm not someone who tries to start stuff. I say directly to him, and I bet people could find criticisms for myself. The whole thing that I don't like about McAfee is that he does a lot of great research into projects. He has a whole team that goes into it, but he ends up on Twitter just promoting projects one-off and doesn't follow up with them. And
Well, it's because he gets paid.
yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, again, you got to make money in some way. And again, I think most people don't realize how much opportunity there is in the crypto space. To where I think, oh man, if people were in the position of some of the big, content creators or influencers, I think they wouldn't think twice and take a lot of money. But as you all know and stuff, my position is that you should try to make income in the most moral way possible, and you need to be transparent about it. He doesn't really talk about it that much. The only times it's been mentioned that he makes the kind of money he does, I think it's like 180 grand per tweet or something. Just one tweet. That's it. You just gotta make a one-off tweet.
I won't say names, but I know someone that tried to get in touch with him, and they gave him a deal. They offered interview for just 100 grand.
That's incredible. Jeez. Let's see if I wonder if I can
wish.
pull. I wonder if I could.
You know, he is now also an advisor on Lux, eh?
Oh, is he really working with LuxCoin?
Yeah, but the funny thing is, he never mentioned it in the interview the other day.
Really?
So they were kind of choked about that.
Wait,
Oh, wow.
so it was. Wait, was it a LuxCoin interview and he didn't mention LuxCoin?
It was someone that basically was very close with the Lux team, and they were supposed to, and he never mentioned it. And they were like, "Are you?" And he'd set him up too, to get into what security coins do you like? Oh, I like Monero. Like, he didn't say Lux. They were
Really?
like, "Oh, great."
They should. Did they do it live? I was gonna say they should possibly do the interview. Like,
No, it wasn't. It was just like,
it's just
yeah.
painful. No.
Yeah.
Anyways, no. I mean, again, yeah. I don't want to round the guy and stuff. Again, I'd love to meet him and just kind of get his perspective on the space, because I think he understands the fundamentals. Someone just commented, "Crypto Tonight" just said he's entertaining, and that's very true. You gotta give him credit. He's the largest. People. It's so funny. People were like talking to me like, "Nick, you're like one of the biggest people in the crypto space." I'm like, nothing like McAfee. Like, McAfee's massive. He is a towering force.
His voice is he demands your attention. He just commands it.
I agree. Yeah, no, I think he's an interesting fella and stuff. And
he's a legend too, right? I mean, he walks into a room.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think
Everybody knows.
it's him and people like the Winklevoss twins. A lot of people who were already previously known but have found their spot in this space, which is really fascinating. I think it's interesting to see how people have all adapted and stuff into the space.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of
this
Winklevoss.
random guy. I'm sorry, but random. You just, you can't. You're gonna be here. Be nice.
Yeah. What were you saying about the Winklevoss twins?
I'm a big fan of them. And Nick, actually, if you could look at something for me, the altcoin dominance lately it went from 27% down to 24. It's at 25 right now.
Yeah.
I was wondering if I could get your opinion on that. Seems like Bitcoin is flattening out and altcoins are starting to go down.
Definitely, yeah.
Dominance, that is.
Yeah, I gotta move my chat over a little bit, but no, you're right on this. In regards to other coin dominance, we have seen a little bit of a depletion recently. So I was talking about this on my daily updates. It is a question now. Again, I always tell people how to read the dominance levels because they can tell a really good story. They can tell you a story on multiple things. So on the question of altcoin cycles, if the altcoin market is going to continue, you need to have a declining Bitcoin dominance. That is the case. The reason being is because you've got 1,600 other cryptocurrencies competing with Bitcoin in this case. And some of those are listed on the chart here for a point, but the objective of what we're asking is if the actual altcoin market is going to expand, and when that happens, we have other coins going up consistently for the most part. So in this case, the question is whether or not Bitcoin dominance is going to keep curving up. In this case, we've flattened out, and it's looking like we might possibly retest back up to 37 or 38% on Bitcoin. And that goes then to hopping towards the chart on Bitcoin and asking, do you think it's going to go below 8,000? In my mindset, I'm still generally in the consensus on the idea that it's going to hold support there. Now, I could be wrong on that. But I look historically at this line of support, and it's almost lining up for a perfect opportunity to hold there and continue this as a long-term level of support. We almost got it here, we got it here, here, and here. And I think that would be a confirmation for many people that we're going to continue to not only see higher levels of Bitcoin, but have an altcoin cycle where altcoins move higher. Again, that's a little bit of my bullish bias in regards to this, but reading this as an indicator more towards your point, you're going to have corrective periods, but in the fact that we're seeing Ethereum rise here, this is where the other story is told. As you know, if you watch my daily updates, I talk about the real areas that I look for in regards to predicting the next altcoin cycle. And I've learned that that comes in the form of the ICO market and OTC markets and things that are generally not on what average retail investors are looking at. That's the thing I'll tell you guys, that where my market perspective comes in, and then also in regards to my persona. A lot of people who get up into high positions in the crypto community, they won't tell you what's going on. I want to tell you guys as much as what's going on at the moment. And what I can tell you is it's the same things that I'd be looking for when I was investing in traditional markets. It's the inside sources. And what I can tell you is that for the most part, there is a lot of money flowing into the ICO space. And how can you tell that? Well, the one indicator you need to look at is Ethereum's price. No matter if you like Ethereum fundamentally or if you dislike Ethereum, we know that Ethereum is the major driver for financing ICOs. And the valuations that I'm seeing at the moment speak volumes of magnitude that I would have never thought were possible. People think the .com era was crazy. You should see what some of these ICOs are evaluating themselves for, and they don't even need to produce much. I'm not going to name names specifically to start any heat. There's a lot of exciting projects, but these projects, whereas, for example, in the ICO space, where we were going from an average of 5 million to 10 million, and we had some crazy ones going for 30 or 50 million dollars for 50% of their token supply. Whoop-de-doo, those were the crazy days. Well, now we're stepping into complete mania. We're seeing ICOs that are raising easily. A few months ago, we're talking about raising, we might raise 10 or 20 million, be conservative about it. No, they're raising 50 million, 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, 500 million, ridiculous levels, and to the levels what you've seen with, for example, players like Telegram that pretty much almost walked away with $2 billion and giving out these tokens. Bear in mind, this is money from institutions and large pools and large investors and VCs and hedge funds. And in the white paper that everyone was going off of, it didn't even talk about what the token did. How crazy is that? Like, you had some ideas for what it was going to do generally off of what they were trying to achieve, but that's the crazy part. Anyways, I'm getting on a tangent, but again, ending up on the point here, the last thing that I really use market dominance for is it's showing that Ethereum is getting market dominance. It's holding on that uptrend as we go here, not only to Ethereum's USD price, but I'd say comparative to Bitcoin. And when that momentum's building up, much like we've seen back here in the past, it shows a telltale sign that risk-taking is increasing, that people are stacking up to hopefully invest in ICOs. So that's my general point. Some people might disagree, but I think that's generally the point you want to look for in regards to market dominance. And I think that it's a big telltale sign, bigger than anything else right now, that we're just getting started with this. Because the ICO space takes about a month or two before we really start seeing exchange listings.
Hey, Nick.
What's up, Sean?
I've got to head out here. It's daughter's dance, so I'll jump on. I'll listen in on the car and things, but sorry, couldn't stick around a little later.
No problem, man.
I did also mention to you, not to, I don't know if you had a chance to look at Dig. I just find it, again, being there's still a lot of newer people out there than me, but the idea of gold being backed on a token kind of interested me. Also, the fact that they're mining up here in Canada also got me going. I don't know if you had a chance to take a look at that.
No, I didn't get to look.
I've also.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, keep going. Sorry. No, you're good.
And then before I go again, there is a heck of a lot. Because being Canadian, I can play on Hadex and Huobi Pro. Mm-hmm. But it seems to be that seems to almost be volume-wise taking the Binance on a lot of these small caps that are coming out.
It's because they're listing more frequently.
One that I saw that is gaining a lot of attention is the SWIFT. they're calling it the Chinese Ripple. So I thought
Interesting.
I'd let you know about that. And unfortunately, yes, I do have to leave, but wish I could say thanks, everybody.
See you later,
No
Chef.
problem, Chef. Take care, man.
I will see you guys in the Discord a little bit later.
All right, sounds good, man. Yo,
Sounds
talk to you.
good.
Yeah, if you guys
Good night.
want, definitely hop into the Discord. Want to give a quick shout out. Thank you, PyCon, for the donation. You're very right. ICO's hard caps are getting straight crazy, and
I told Pycon to come down here. So
Oh
I
yeah,
gotta
no, we.
run.
You know what? I'll drag him in here if he's making donations. I'll drag
Yeah.
him in. I'll drag him to the channel either way. If he's AFK, it won't
Oh,
hurt anything.
and before I forget, sorry, one more thing. Raphael 1, I don't have access to the back there. I can't find him on the Discord. He said he was banned. Maybe Raphael, you can give him Nick your there he is, your Discord name, because I couldn't find it there. It was different.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
Maybe Nick can do that for you.
Yeah, we should work towards getting you back in, Raphael, because I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know the background of it.
Mm-hmm.
Of
Yeah,
Discord. I don't have those access.
yeah, he's been an active member and stuff. I think he'd be fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sounds
Catch
good,
you guys
Chef.
later.
Have a good time.
See you later.
So someone's pointing that Bitcoin's getting wrecked down $100 within a matter of 2 minutes. Oof.
Yeah, I'm expecting 8K, maybe sub 8K.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the thing about it, you know what I've noticed with this market, and again, it's in a sense, it's just people who make up the market right now. There's always the big moves in the market always have to do with these like 2,000 to 5,000 Bitcoin orders that you're just seeing come in on the sell side or buy side, and it's fascinating to me because a lot of the big money is going off exchange to OTC, and I'm wondering if some people use a mixture of on exchange to OTC to do their bidding. Like they'll do less on the on exchange aspect.
Could you clarify what OTC is? Sorry.
Yeah, no, good question. OTC is over the counter. So I'm going to be doing a video on OTC specifically in the next few weeks. And I also want to do videos on market manipulation because I want people to understand how markets can be easily manipulated. If you're going to be trading in them, people should know how they get manipulated. There's all kinds of things that people do, that whales do, that exchanges completely sit by and let happen on a daily basis because they're not as regulated. But OTC, in regards to that topic, is over the counter. It's off exchange. So when we think, for example, and this is the big kind of one-liner that I'm going to have at the beginning of my OTC video, what do you think is the largest exchange? Many people would list Coinbase, Binance, they'd list Upbit if they actually check the volume charts. They think, oh, it's South Korea, obviously. It's none of those. It's OTC markets. In a funny term that I'm going to use for that, an analogy, is Telegram, because a lot of the big orders happen on Telegram, guys. It's the unknown thing that people don't realize, that there are literally on a daily basis, at a minimum on in certain days where there's low volume, hundreds of millions of dollars, if not in most days, billion-dollar block orders where people are literally buying thousands of Bitcoin, tens of thousands of Bitcoin, and whales are exchanging it off exchange. They're doing this in Asia predominantly, but this can happen in a lot of different areas across the world. It's not regulated to one area. And it's done through pretty much a clearinghouse of some sort on Telegram, some middle third party coming in between two people, bringing them together because they have the network of networking these people together, these large investors, and they're trusted third parties. Ironically enough, kind of counterintuitive to decentralization. But in the investment sense, it makes sense because you're dealing with a lot of money, and you have one person on the right side as well as the other person on the left side. I guess that's flipped for you guys. But you have the buyer who obviously wants to buy a lot of Bitcoin and doesn't want to worry about having to clear through an order book and pay a premium for a lot of his Bitcoin. And you also have someone on the sell side who doesn't want to dump like these people, for example, are doing, where they're clearing through and having to sell a lot of their Bitcoin for a lower price. So what you're going to have is a lot of people who will off exchange agree to a price. It takes some time, in some cases, sometimes days to negotiate, but sometimes people are very quick. They like the market price. They make the swap. They send it through the middle party and exchange. And that's how they facilitate transactions. A lot of it's done with cash and crypto. But again, you have all kinds of systems dependent on regulation and oversight into this market. It can happen in a lot of different ways. That's where most money moves, though. The thing about that that's important to note with OTC is that it has, in that case, let's say we did a 10,000 Bitcoin order. Someone bought 10,000 Bitcoin, and someone was selling 10,000 Bitcoin for the equivalent cash that that exchange would bring. That is not going to affect this price at all that we're looking at right now, Because it's OTC. It's over the counter. It's off exchange. It's not on Bitfinex. It's not on Binance. It's not on any exchange that we're aware of. It's all completely off the grid. It's private. So because of that, it's very, very important to understand that it's important to keep up with what's going on in the OTC market. The sad factor is that even, I know you guys probably are like, DataDash, what's your inside source? I don't have much direct contacts who even deal with the OTC space or really know what's going on, because I'm not a massive investor. Most of it happens privately. It happens with people who keep relatively secret about it. So you need to build up connections to get that, but I'm not too focused on getting the inside scoop on it. I just know that it happens outside of it, and I know from the rumors that are spreading that there is serious volume coming in. So I thought that'd be good to share it with you guys, and hopefully I did a good justice on explaining home on what OTC is. Did that explain it pretty well?
Yeah, you wrapped up pretty well.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a way to look at the Bitcoin blockchain and figure out exactly or get a rough estimate of how much transactions are happening OTC.
Yeah, that is the one thing, because
There are OTC exchanges. There's like Genesis Trading,
Yeah.
Local Bitcoin.
a couple others.
yeah. No, there's a lot of ones like that where you need to have serious institutional levels of money to do most OTC. But no, you're right on that. Yeah, you can. I mean, there's even like, well, for example, you have even smaller ones like Bitsy that have OTC exchanging and stuff where you can do over the counter. But it's tendent that a lot of the big orders won't be on huge exchanges, or won't be on any well-known exchanges unless there's the liquidity for it. When we're talking about those massive orders, the multi-10 or $100 million orders within a day between a few select parties, that's when you can't, you'll clear through the order book and stuff. So it has to happen, obviously, in most cases off exchange. But again, I think it's predominantly happening in Asia. It's just where it's happening because of the regulatory environment. And a lot of it's happening in Hong Kong. It's happening in, what are some of the areas? I'd say probably some in Japan, probably some in South Korea, in the Philippines, in Thailand. You have a lot of those Eastern Asian countries that serve as big hubs for it because of less regulation, as well as being a solution if there is excessive regulation, doing something kind of off the grid. Yeah, PyCon. So what's your general take on this case? I mean, you're saying, for example, we could possibly see, Bitcoin come down to below 8,000. I think you're not wrong on that. There's always a case that it could, and we might, possibly retest lower levels. What's your general kind of price range, and what's your reasoning for it in a technical perspective, if you don't mind providing it?
It's mostly due to we have no volume right now. I mean, we keep going up. These last couple spikes that we've had, right? We've gone up with relatively low volume comparative to past uptrends.
No, you're right. I mean, if you take the period where we've actually experienced, even since the decline, for example, if you include that in, we have still been seeing on a weekly pattern a declining trend of volume. You can see it here on the chart, guys. Again, we've got the price candles and you got volume here. That's not going to adjust to my chart, sadly. But you can see that we haven't gotten the same kind of increase in volume, especially stepping into lower prices, which is not always a good sign. Now, again, like I said, you got to factor in OTC. I think that's a fair point to make. But PyCon's not wrong. On exchange right now, which does matter as well, it shows you that retail investors aren't putting money in. It shows you that institutions aren't trading. For example, you have some institutional accounts. Coinbase just came out with the new thing at Consensus, where they're hoping to build a huge institutional platform with for $10 billion a daily volume. That's their goal. I think they'll achieve it possibly in the next bull run, but the question is, are we there yet? Are we there with the volume? And as much as I'm a permabull and a lot of the signs are looking positive, I definitely don't want to keep closed off to the idea that we might need more retail liquidity before this actually starts to move out more retail volume bars.
Yeah, Bitcoin looks good long term, but here short term, it doesn't look very hot. And most people don't want to buy Bitcoin at $9,000 or $10,000 right now. They're just not willing to. It needs the pullback to refuel to get the next leg up.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't disagree and stuff. The worst case I see is possibly coming down to triple bottom at around 7,000 Satoshis. That is the worst case I see. I know you've got a lot of people in the market, and I want to have him on because again, he's an active trader, and I don't want to debate so much. I just like to get his perspective and more details. But I'd love to talk with Tone, for example, Tone Vase, and see why he's rationaling around 5,000 for Bitcoin, 4,000, potentially 3,000. I was watching his stream. He was
Yeah,
talking.
yeah. I've watched his videos on that, and like something going down to that would be the extreme. And I'm not saying that it could never be possible, but it
Yep.
would not stay. Otherwise, Bitcoin would die. Because
Yeah.
miners need to make money. There becomes a certain level that Bitcoin can drop to where mining it is no longer profitable.
Yep.
And if it's not profitable, they're not going to mine it because they can only short it for so long to cover their expenses.
Yeah, you can only hedge so much. No, you're exactly right. And that's the thing. I always forget the website name. I can't remember it. But there's that line that it bases off of McAfee's mathematical prediction of reaching Bitcoin.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, Colm, you actually sent it to me a lot, actually, I think. But I'll see if you can think of the name. Let me know. But it's basically a chart, guys, where you see Bitcoin's price estimated, the estimated range of where you should expect, or the mean of where you should expect Bitcoin's price to be, because of calculations of the expense, the difficulty of mining, so the cost versus the reward of it, and along with that as well, with generally factoring in about how the price of Bitcoin wraps around that trend line. Again, we will never know what's going to happen to Bitcoin tomorrow or next week or in a month, but we know for sure that it does get more expensive over time, especially if price doesn't come up to meet with it, that Bitcoin gets too expensive to mine at a point, and it gets more and more difficult over time.
I mean, yeah, one issue we're running into right now is, we're coming into, what would you call it, Murphy's Law when it comes to hardware technology.
Oh yeah, sorry. Is it? No, sorry. It's not Murphy's Law. It's what is that?
No, it's kind of where we're getting to the point when you think about like computers and processors. To
Moore's
where
Law. Moore's Law. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The boost is not there as much each cycle when a new version of a processor comes out, right?
Yeah. No, Moore's Law.
And generally, if you're getting the bigger boost on like clock speeds and processing power, the TDP, the amount of power it draws is going up with it.
X-Chobo, thank you very much for the subscribe on that. Going to your point in regards to that PyCon, yeah, the thing about Moore's Law that people need to factor in is that Moore's Law is running out in regards to hardware capacity for in the case of building GPUs or miners. And it's getting to a point where we focus less in regards to actually scaling down. We really can't. We're getting on a microscopic level in regards to how detailed we can make these chips that are processing things. So what we're stuck at now is keeping things cool. That's the big objective in a cheap way with the amount of power you're consuming. Because you can run these things faster than most people have done before, but you need to find ways to keep them cool, keep it cheap and compact to where it's not taking up enough room. And that's a very, very difficult balance to find. The guys over at Bitmain and NVIDIA have a ton of money to do that, to go ahead and explore that, because there's so much money to supposedly be made in crypto. But yeah, it's a very, very interesting phenomenon. As whereas Moore's Law has been helping us for years, it's not helping out as much as it used to. I think in hard drive space, for example, or just general storage space, I think it'll last for a while. I don't think it's so much of a worry right now, but it's just going to be a matter of manufacturing it cheaper in the future, as well as it being possibly an oversaturated market to where it gets cheaper. We're just not seeing the efficiency rise up as much. Let's see, Brian Land, real quick, gave a $10 donation. Thank you very much, Brian. Really liking what this is how this is going, guys. Just real quick, just want to say that really liking having you guys through the Discord, and then also seems like the stream's staying pretty active. Brian says, "Hi Nick."
My ticket to fame.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Nick Combs. Yeah, Colm, you're famous now. Everyone's gonna know you. You're probably your mom's watching or something, and she's like,
"Oh yeah." I told my brother, like, once he got me on, I was like, "Get on the stream." I'm talking to him.
You gotta get on the stream. Yeah, no. But anyways, Brian says, "Hi Nick and everyone else. I dig DataDash." Thank you, Brian. Thank you very much. I'm glad you dig DataDash. But please tell me why we think Bitcoin would do anything other than drop long term when the daily RSI is above 30 and looking to fall more. All right, let's go ahead and get the RSI on here real quick. I don't actually know if I have any room. I'll get rid of the TD sequential here. We'll add the RSI. So your point of reference is towards the relative strength index, showing that Bitcoin is above 30. Okay. So this is actually a good point to bring up. Again, guys, indicators, it's very key to know when you're doing trading and investing. And I bet, Brian, you've got a lot of trading experience behind you. Not trying to derail you in this sense. But indicators are not finite. Okay, it's very, very important to mention that. Now, what they can do is they can point a lot of great direction towards what's going on in the market. So, for example, you could see that there was a combination of effective use of indicators when you saw a rejection of Bitcoin at not only the 200-day moving average, but also that the RSI had read an oversold level. But we've seen Bitcoin step into oversold territory many times in the past, as well as oversold in some areas. I guess oversold has actually usually been a good point to buy for the most part, at least in the short term, over the past few months in Bitcoin. But in this case, yeah, you might be right. Maybe we need to come back down to the 30 level on the RSI. It's a mixture of using different indicators, but it doesn't mean just because Bitcoin has been on a downtrend on the RSI and that we haven't come down to 30 that it's time to not time to buy or not time to get bullish. Again, indicators give good guidance. If you have a mechanism where you use a multitude of indicators, that gives you charting guidance. It gives you an idea of, well, 10 out of 12 indicators that I use on a common basis that show a level of success when they signal a buy opportunity are showing that it's a time to buy, that the market is cheap, that it's a time to get bullish. Or it might be the other way, that only 2 or out of 12 of those indicators are signaling it's time to possibly sell, or we're not seeing any strength. This is just possibly moving sideways. Again, you build your formula how you like it, but I think bringing up the point of the RSI is interesting. We'll keep an eye. I think generally because the RSI has been a really good indicator for Bitcoin, that we'll keep an eye on it as I have been for quite some time. It's just that I don't get to show all the indicators because I really should do this. I should be paying for TradingView, but I tend to find pretty good comfort in just removing an indicator and putting on a new one. It doesn't take too much work, especially, I don't know how much they charge a month, but yeah, I just don't really feel the need for it. All right, so let's go ahead here and take a few questions here from the chat. Let's see here.
Is it all right if I read some questions if I find some interesting ones?
Yeah. If you find some good ones, definitely. You guys can help me out with that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I've seen where you talked about Hollow Chain.
Oh, yeah.
As you know me from previous talks in the past, Nick, I'm always really into DAGs or things that are trying to do something different than blockchain.
Yep. The whole idea of holochain, what it seems like, because the thing is with Ethereum, if you really think about it, it's the enterprise step towards utilizing blockchain and building some form of decentralized application without a central authority or any kind of middleman in the process. And it's based off this idea with dApps of building ecosystems to some degree. The problem is that, guys, again, I want to emphasize that there's a lot of issues with blockchains. They don't do a lot of things great. They do a very select few things good. It's in a method of actors who do not trust each other reaching consensus, which means you need to have a good mechanism of consensus. And if you can do that, you can remove third parties from transactions as well as a central authority. But it doesn't mean that it scales for a lot of applications. If you're thinking about, for example, social media platform, I can instantly give you one. Facebook. Facebook does, in just the case of likes, to really put this in scale, I bet they do tens, if not hundreds of millions of transactions a second. But in the sense of data, just to do likes, for example, on Facebook, every second there's, I can't remember the actual statistic, it was hundreds of thousands though, every second of likes that are going on Facebook. Hundreds of thousands. So when you factor that and you're talking about a blockchain, these blockchains that can scale to, we can do 300,000 transactions or we can do 500,000 transactions. If you're going to have to make relay transactions over the network for likes, that's going to clog up your entire network. That's one dApp. If you're going to have a multi-dApp ecosystem, that can't work. But in the case of something like Holochain, for example, which isn't trying to be blockchain technology, that is applying an agent-centric approach, and if you don't really get all the terminology I'm talking about, you should really go watch the video, because I think I did a pretty decent job of explaining it. But they've also got a video explaining how the model works. With using distributed hash tables, it's a very, very interesting system where you're actually, almost in a sense, building ecosystems that rely on a system that encourages good actors, that opens up the doors for good actors, and is a system that allows you to actually scale dApps into ecosystems that can actually process millions, if not tens or hundreds of millions of transactions a second. And I agree with you as well, PyCon. I think generally just DAGs are exciting because they're proving higher levels of scalability. In the case of Nano, they've pretty much fixed the double spend problem with the delegated proof of stake, as well as the block lattice. There's a way you can possibly mislead transactions, but you can't double spend on the network, so you don't have to worry about a 51% attack. So I think there's a whole nother direction that people haven't even, for the most part, looked at in regards to DAGs, and it's why I've been excited ever since I figured out about Nano, which was originally obviously rate blocks. Real quick, M83 GSA said, did you change your opinion on QLC and why you no cover? Well, I haven't changed my opinion on QLC, guys, but here's the fact of the matter. Right now, QLC is not showing the kind of momentum we want in this market. Then again, most altcoins aren't, and it's generally moved about the same percentage as most altcoins have compared to Bitcoin. But so long as it generally holds above 1,700 Satoshis, I'm still generally looking pretty optimistic in regards to QLink. Sadly, we didn't get the cup and handle we were looking for because a slight correction came into markets. But again, nonetheless, I'm not negative on QLink at the moment. Again, I look for discounts. So if the volume stays consistent like it has, and maybe we get an increase of volume, possibly some good buy candles over the next few days, finding support at that key level, triple bottoming from the opening day, the first, second, or third weeks of price action on exchange, on Binance, and then possibly for a third time. Could be a good trading opportunity, but not adding to QLink as of yet, especially with Bitcoin possibly going below 8,000 or breaking below the 50-day moving average. All right, let's go ahead and answer one more question here. Let's see. When do you decide when it's time to snap in your videos and live chats? I don't know. I'm quite spontaneous. I usually do it at the beginning, but actually in the live stream, I tend not to do it sometimes. But I don't think I did it today. But I'll be spontaneous about it. If you guys ask, I'll usually throw in a little snap in there. Got to please the fans. All right. What ERC20 tokens do you think Coinbase will add? Sean H., I got to tell you, with ERC20 tokens, it is a very, very interesting picture because I don't know the flexibility of how quick they're going to add them. It seems as if Coinbase is going to legally be okay and opt into the idea that it can list ERC20 tokens, I don't see why they'd limit themselves. I think they would list tons of ERC20 tokens, probably more serious projects. I would think along the lines of projects that have companies backing them. So one that's very popular on a retail level that I know about, and again, this is purely speculation, guys, but even though I'm not a big investor in it as well, don't hold a large amount of Amise Go. I think Amise Go would be one. I think you'd get, for example, we'd go down CoinMarketCap. This could give me some ideas. As we look across the board, I would say probably, as we take a look at ERC20, I didn't think you'd see Zcash, for example, getting listed being a privacy coin, but Gemini did that, so it opens up the floodgates for a lot of others. Probably Eternity because it's been around for so long and it's higher valued. OX is another one many people have been estimating is going to get listed. What else is there as well? I'd say possibly.
I have a question about privacy coins. Mm-hmm. So I forget which exchange it was, but it was an Asian exchange. They got hacked, and hackers ran off with the Monero, and they weren't held accountable for anything because Monero is anonymous. So these hackers basically got away with it without being tracked. And what this exchange did is they took off Monero from their exchange, and they took off all privacy coins.
Yeah, I remember that.
Can you see other exchanges doing that if security breaches become a threat and privacy coins have to suffer because of that?
Yeah, I think what you're going to get into is a really big pickle in the future in regards to keeping track of money. And then along with that as well, we're going to see centralized exchanges. Again, I'm surprised the Winklevoss twins. I'd love to have them on and ask them why they went forward in moving Zcash. I guess it's a popular choice, but
there's a difference between, and I think a large misconception in the crypto community between privacy and anonymous.
Anonymity, yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good point to bring up. I mean, the fact of the matter is, though, that I'm generally interested at seeing how there's a big push in regards to exchanges listing this. But on your point, you're bringing up comment in regards to in the case of Monero, for example, with a coin that uses ring signatures, I do not believe you're going to see that on any licensed exchange. I don't believe that you're going to continue to see exchanges adopt, at least in the U.S. Now, you mentioned, I don't know if it was CoinCheck that got hacked by the NEM.
That sounds familiar. Yeah.
Yeah, CoinCheck was the NEM hack. I don't know if they were as well the exchange that removed privacy coins, or that was another Eastern. I would assume it's an Asian exchange. But it doesn't make much sense for these centralized exchanges to do that, because they are going to be, in most cases, held accountable, if not through legal authorities, through a variety of lawsuits. And we've already seen with the Nano hack, there's already a massive dispute in the community about that. There's people who will get pissed because there's money involved, and that will always be the case. I think what you're going to see with a lot of these cryptocurrencies, especially ones that can work either through atomic swaps, or they wouldn't be ERC20 tokens if they're privacy or anonymity-based coins. But I think as you get more decentralized exchanges actually working, you're seeing Komodo and a few others work with atomic swaps. I think that's going to lead towards a very interesting future, not only where you're going to see privacy and anonymity coins come to these decentralized exchanges that use atomic swaps, but along with that as well, you're going to get to a point where crypto can move there, it can cycle, and it can move to other positions that you don't know about. And I think that's going to lead towards a really, really interesting case. But I don't think you're going to see continued licensed exchanges listing it. Possibly exchanges like Binance. I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. That's their domain, because you're dealing with crypto to crypto, and everything is on the books. Yeah. So
I'd never see Coinbase adding Monero or something like that, just because I think it would pose legal issues for them down the road. And anyways, why would you want to buy something like Monero from Coinbase, where they're going to keep a log that you called it to begin with?
That's the whole point. Is it's if you're living for a life of kind of cutting out of the system, you're not going to be buying it through not through Monero. Coinbase, like you said, I think you brought up a good point. PyCon is exactly right in regards to Coinbase. Will never, ever list Monero. If they do, I will be absolutely speechless, and I want them to do a write-up on why they decided Monero out of all players. Second off, in regards to the anonymity aspect of it. Monero is known for being a coin where it's untraceable once you send a transaction because of ring signatures. It's a really interesting system. The fact of the matter is, though, is that on Coinbase, because everything is running through a centralized database when you're making purchases, when you're buying Monero, you're getting it through one of the accounts that they run. They're going to know what that account is. They're going to know that you made a purchase of it. And if you go off, for example, let's say that you think you're somehow going to go off the grid, and you go out and you start trading on decentralized exchanges, you swap your Monero for something else, yada, yada. You find a system to get around it. The government is going to get very fishy when you're riding your Lamborghini and you're living in a nice mansion and making all these big purchases that you can't avoid spending your money on, and making it pretty loud and clear that you own it. And the IRS is going to get very, very interesting if you think you can just hop around that system, especially if they say, oh, interesting enough, he just bought $10,000 worth of Monero on Coinbase. Coinbase is in bed with the IRS. They're in bed with the government. And I think for decent reasons to some degree. Again, there's a lot of big money in crypto, guys, and it's only going to get bigger. And I guess that's a whole other debate. But I think in the sense of a government serving its function, there's no question why they would want to search for that, for money laundering, for tax evasion. In that case, it's just the law. So again, going on PyCoin's point, I think I'm kind of rambling on here, but it's a distant future before I ever see Monero getting a listing onto Coinbase. So, all right, let's go.
Yeah,
ahead.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I think it's the clear case. I mean, I can't think of any reason why they would, but would love to hear from other people if they think.
And I think the next coin, if they add another one, I still think they're shaking up over Bitcoin Cash pretty hard. It's going to be an old tested project, something that's been around for a while, that hasn't, that's somewhat stable, that consistently updated. The team is active, the project's.
Wait, PyCon, are you talking about Coinbase?
Yeah. If they add another coin, it's going to be something that's been around for a while, that's consistently developed upon. And
sorry. I was reading it as if you said they were going to list Bitcoin Cash because they've listed that already on Coinbase.
no, I was saying
A similar
they haven't
project.
listed another coin yet because I still think they're shaking up over the Bitcoin Cash fiasco.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's going to be something that's been well established. The one reason why I'm not too shocked by Zcash out of all privacy coins is that Zcash has. I can't tell you. I've never had a community of people who have been quiet yet at the same time a part of a massive audience of a project, who don't shill the project, who really like the application of the currency itself, and that's Zcash. Like, it's something that, again, I hear nothing about in the shill side of things. There's no one absolutely advocately promoting the coin itself, but there's a massive community behind Zcash because it's been around for a long time. You had early investors like Roger Ver in it, so again, a lot of major market players have been optimistic on the currency for a long time because I think it had such an early head start, and they have an active dev community, updates going to it. So it doesn't shock me, I guess, out of all coins, why that got listed on Gemini in that regard. But yeah, I think you're like you said, it's going to be projects that actually provide long-term potential in some degree. They've actually shown active development. We keep on.
Do we got any other questions that people are asking?
Someone said Bcash is a load of junk. You know, I want to ask you guys this because this has been a project that is not obviously getting talked about, and I've abandoned for a while as much as I love my man Reggie Middleton. Veritasium, I think I'm pronouncing that right. This has been a project for a while that has gotten delisted from a lot of exchanges. Still has, last time I checked, a pretty bland website. Veritasium. Probably misspelled that, but let's see here. Yeah. Oh, no, actually, scratch that. Oh, they've got a little bit of updates here. My bad. Well, anyways, Veritasium was a big project back in, I think you guys would probably remember that back during 2017 early on, that was looking pretty optimistic in regards to valuation, but has stayed pretty stagnant if we go to CoinMarketCap. Do you guys have any opinions on Veritasium?
I actually haven't looked into it yet.
I am not familiar with it, no.
Yeah, it's been holding generally around the valuation that actually even a lower level right now than some of its peaks back in July. That's not too hard to believe though. But the volume is just not there right now because it's delisted from so many exchanges. It used to be on I think Bittrex and Poloniex, I think a few other exchanges, and it just got removed with many other quiet. And that's the big thing, is that a lot of coins get removed quietly in the background from exchanges. And if they're getting delisted from exchanges, that tells me that they're taking too long to deliver or bring excitement or hype. I don't care so much for hype, but I care more than anything about this actually sustaining long term. And you do need excitement. You need a community. You need marketing around it. So again, maybe I'll check into the rebranding here. This is definitely interesting, and I liked their objective. Because as someone, Reggie's been working in the traditional financial sector for a while, if you know who he is. He's not massive or anything, but he's definitely a cool guy and everything, and he's worked in financial services for quite some time.
Yeah, another interesting question here, Nick, that I saw someone bring up. Someone wants your opinion on Mt. Gox. I'm guessing he's still talking. I'm guessing he's probably talking about the trustee.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I was laughing when before you had said something earlier. I was laughing at because I read that, and there was. Here's the thing about Mt. Gox. The scary part to me is that I don't care so much about the trustee. What worries me is that he's moved a lot of the Bitcoin, and we correlated a lot of that with the drops in the market. But to my knowledge, they haven't sold any Bitcoin. Am I correct on that?
I know they still have a lot.
They have,
and they've made more than enough to pay back all the investors. So the question now is what are they going to do with it?
Yeah. That is the question I'm worried about as well. And I'm worried about when that hits market or if it's going to go in OTC. I think they're going to go OTC with it if that follows legal compliances with the court ruling in Japan. Because if they were to prop that up on exchange, even if it was in deviations of 3% or 5% of the total holdings, that would absolutely liquidate the entire order book of every exchange. They'd have to divvy it up between every exchange across the board. That would just be tons and tons of Bitcoin. And I think that's not sustainable. I don't think that's going to happen. And I think they have to do it OTC. So, Julio, thank you very much. Hi, nice haircut, DataDash. If there's an opposite to the adjusted haircut, it's that. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's something for me that I doesn't keep me up at night, but I am definitely concerned about what their exit strategy is, because as much money as you said they've made off this this inconvenience, this hack, they've actually ended up with a lot of free money, and it's going to be a question of whether or not they execute this in a smart way, or they're going to do something that's going to hurt a lot of people, average everyday investors, and in fact make the money that they have worth a lot less. So.
Yeah, yeah. And I see another person there asking an interesting question about whether EOS could dethrone ETH in the future. And my opinion on that one is a high possibility due to Ethereum, the issues with Ethereum scalability, and their next major update. I mean, we know the basics of it. They've been talking about it, putting out stuff, but we haven't seen how it actually functions. So, I mean, if Ethereum doesn't address the scalability problems, then I definitely think EOS will dethrone Ethereum.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's many startups at the conventions I went to. A lot of startups say they want to switch to EOS once their mainnet drops. I don't know if it's dropped already or not, but they said they wanted to switch because EOS offered a lot more, and that's the general consensus I got from everybody out of the 3 conventions I went to. Most of them said they were going to switch.
No, you're not wrong, man. That is the case across the board. So they're launching mainnet in June, and I for the longest time have doubted EOS. I have to be completely fair about that. Again, I definitely like to talk about my right calls, but at the same time, I'm a transparent, honest guy, and I admit to my missed opportunities and my failures. And I gotta say, it's been an absolute terrible decision to ignore EOS for as long as I have. I've talked about it since it was an early project and was going through its first initial phase, but I didn't understand the real objectives of EOS and how far they're actually taking it. Not only is it looking to be a much more scalable protocol, it's fixing the issue of having to run front-end clients to use applications, a lot of applications for Ethereum. But the big thing about EOS is that it has a whole channel of not only infrastructure for early stage projects to onboard onto EOS, but a much better framework to do so. I can list a few things. So in regards to numbers you were listing, to kind of speak volumes of this before I just go into descriptive factors about EOS. EOS already has, from what I've heard, around a few hundred applications that are being prepared to be built, either being tested and toyed around with on EOS so far, or are looking to launch on mainnet eventually. So that's good news for EOS in that case. And second off, it's important to note as well that EOS has something that practically no protocol has. So you have a lot of protocols going out there raising ridiculous amounts of money, again, 20, 30, $50 million, $100 million in the case of, I think, Hedera Hashgraph, much more than that. I don't know the actual numbers, guys, but the case of the matter is that there's a lot of money being raised. So the problem is, though, is that EOS raised a little bit more money than those. They raised around, I think, what was it, $1 billion or something, a little over $1 billion, I think. And I was always curious for the longest time. I actually made it a critical point that this is Dan Larimer's exit, probably, right? This is him, obviously building his third project and trying to make a lot of money. And I really wrongfully read that. I got to say, I retraced my statement on that, or my kind of arrogant belief in that, because I've learned what the money was going towards. I didn't spend the time originally to actually do the research. And what they're trying to do is build up an incubator system, in simple terms, that pretty much funnels in projects that we're planning to build on Ethereum and all these other protocols. And what they're going to do is they're going to kind of interrupt the ICO system. So in the ICO market, a lot of great projects, whether they're bad or good, come in with a really great philosophy, a good idea, in many cases actually a reasonable concept with a team that can deliver. But they spend a lot of time raising capital, and in many cases they get caught up in the money. Well, what EOS is going to do is they're going to have, I don't know how the actual process goes about it, but they have some kind of governance system inside of the EOS. Maybe it's through Block 1 or whatever, or the block producers, the 21 delegates. But basically, there's going to be a system where, let's say, for example, the 1 in 100 great dApps that are out there that actually show promise, they're going to go as a team, as EOS, and they're going to say, hey, look, we really like your idea. We love your team. We think you actually could deliver on this, but you know what? We'd hate to see you build on Ethereum. We think you could do it better on EOS. And you're trying to raise $20 or $30 million. Yeah, that's right. That's a decent amount of money. You're not overhyping your project. You need that kind of money to build a massive dApp and deliver on what you're trying to do. That's fine. We'll give you that money. We'll help fund and take care of that. And we'll help foster your ecosystem you're trying to build. But here's the catch. You don't have to go out there and raise a lot of capital, but you have to distribute some of those tokens to EOS holders. Now think about how powerful that is. That's acting like a dividend system. If you're a holder in EOS, you actually benefit from the fostering of the entire ecosystem. You benefit from more projects, real projects that have been vetted and selected by these individuals and the EOS team or the EOS community. And you're getting steady projects. You're getting continuous amounts of tokens towards your EOS. I mean, that's extremely powerful. Ethereum doesn't have that kind of infrastructure. Ethereum has gotten to the point now where all ICOs, it's really only interesting to get into them in pre-sale, some cases ICO if it's a really big project, or maybe very, very early on in exchanges. And then after that, it's trading and long-term holding. It's just, that's the ecosystem it's become. It's become very centralized in the sense of opportunity. And what's nice about holding EOS is that so long as you hold it, you keep benefiting from the growth of the ecosystem. You don't have to go out and invest your ether into these things. You benefit as a holder. And they have this huge foundation that's going to help at least build that up from the start. And I bet they're going to continue it probably. I don't know this in detail because I'm studying a dozen protocols a day. I'd be curious to see if the decentralized, the DAO, or the DAC, I think in that sense is what they call it. The DAC is going to have a funneling system where they actually funnel EOS to great projects that get voted on and possibly continue to foster that ecosystem. So I don't know. I have to still do a little bit more research on it. But again, it's the reason why, guys, I'm looking at this range to possibly get my first real set of EOS. But I'm going to wait patiently until I get a fair price on this. I'm not too urgent on it. It's definitely had its run up. But yeah, if you guys have any serious opinions on EOS, I think we got someone dropping out of the channel. We still got you, Coleman. We also got PyCon, both of y'all as well. So
yeah, Chef lagged out.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He was going to pick up his daughter. Yeah, but what do you have you guys looked into EOS at all, or?
No, but now I'm going to have to. I've just heard.
I've been buying it every time I get a chance.
I mean,
the price is right.
I mean, I don't think you're crazy for it, and here's the reason: is it's already a top 5. Yes, it's already $11 billion in valuation, but if it's a steady competitor with Ethereum, we've already seen Ethereum climb up to higher levels of valuation in the past. We've seen it at I think, was it over 100 billion in the past? Let me go check here real quick. Yeah, we had a valuation at around 124 billion. I think, you're not going to get an easy 10x on this by any means, but a double or triple in valuation would not be ridiculous in the grand scheme of things because...
I think EOS has 10x potential.
Yeah, you think long term it has that, or like it could possibly come up
long term? It's not going to happen in 30 days or 60 days or nothing like that. But I think over long term, having EOS in somewhere in the range of $80 to $100.
Yep.
It's not too far of a stretch.
I agree.
And I'm just going to let you guys know, chat, PyCon has developed a really good reputation of getting good calls in this Discord. Yes. So he's the guy you want to listen to.
That is no doubt. PyCon is one of the masters at finding early stage projects. And I got to say, PyCon, from what I know about your trades and your investments and stuff, you made some good calls from what I know. And I definitely mean that. So,
yeah, and with us talking about EOS here, people also don't need to forget about Stellar.
Oh, Stellar, yeah. People always rail on me because I don't talk enough about Stellar when I do my when I check prices during my daily updates. I need to do that more often. I slip by that sometimes, but yeah, Stellar itself has become quite a decent protocol as well. I mean, have you looked into any of the projects building on top of Stellar, PyCon?
There's a couple. They had some news too that came out recently that was kind of exciting, but there were a few of them too that were somewhat questionable. Of course, that's everything in crypto nowadays. Yeah. You really got to question everything because over 50% of these projects coming out in game, they're not going to deliver. Yeah, it's just not going to happen. So it's really a speculative market.
I'm reading here on their Medium, they've got Keybase, which seems, if I know what Keybase is because I remember Meridian was telling me about Keybase, with all the worries of Telegram and a few other messages not being actually secured and encrypted. They've got Keybase, which is actually one of the few things that he at least trusted it. But they've got at least a partnership locked in with them, which is quite interesting for Stellar. I wouldn't picture those two working together, but I could see it, I guess, in a sense. But strong cryptograph. Let's see. We're most interested in the groundbreaking efforts to link strong cryptography to real-world identity. Oh, so they're doing identity. That's interesting, because I'm pretty involved in the space. I don't talk about it extensively, but I am definitely interested in the idea of doing identity as well as data sovereignty with blockchain applications. So that would be interesting for Stellar, something that's a little more scalable. So interesting stuff. Yeah. No, definitely.
One of our viewers here wants to come in and talk about EOS. I was wondering if you'd let him. Tommy
Yeah.
Tran. He's in the general chat.
Tommy Tran, definitely. We'll drag Tommy Tran in because this is a big topic right now. Tommy, you're in the channel. How you doing, man?
Tommy, are you there?
Wu Yang Art said, Nick, are we going to die? No, guys.
I guess not.
Okay.
Hello?
Hey.
Oh, there he is.
Hey,
What's
how you
up,
doing, Tommy?
I'm in a Sydney train.
That's good. There we go. So we got someone from Aussie. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Trekking to uni.
Oh, nice. What university do you go
Every
to?
time I hear an Aussie voice, it makes me miss Queef.
Oh, dude, no. He was going on some big boating trip, right? Ah, man, I swear, there's so many people. Oh, sorry, Chef. We'll bring you back in. I just saw in the chat. My apologies. You gotta join general or something so I can drag you in there. Mi amigo. All right, I'm gonna go through and answer some questions, so we'll get Chef in here and let's see here. King of Crypto. When we were speaking to XLM, he just loaded up on XLM 10 minutes ago. Interesting. Alrighty, let's see here.
He probably lost all his crypto in a boating accident. Oh my god.
Juan, that's hilarious. Oh man, yeah, he was Queef was so funny. I had such a good time having him on the channel. There we go, we got Chef now. All right, Chef's on mute at the moment, but hopefully he'll can turn on his mic and stuff and get it back in here.
Yeah, there's my Chef.
There we go.
Me and Chef have become good friends over the last, half year greater.
Yeah. I can't believe time flies, eh?
It does.
It's like crypto, one week like Star date, like Star Trek. One week should equal one crypto year.
No, you're not wrong, man. It's weird. It's been like a weird mix for me, to be honest. I've gotten in this trance where I've realized we've had the channel DataDash for less than a year, which is incredible. Almost at a community of 300,000, and it's been less than a year. So it shows you how crazy crypto is. But the thing that still also shocks me as well, as much as it seems short term, is like I remember it feels like meeting some of the people in the community just yesterday, which is good. I mean, it shows that time flies in a sense, and you have so many good memories. And I can still recollect back to the craziness in December and January. Feels literally like last week, but yeah. Man.
Yeah, to that extent about December is the U.S. dollar equivalents may not be the same right now, but the last month altcoins have been killing it. Just don't get greedy.
Yeah, that's the thing I keep drilling to people, guys. You don't need USD valuations to gain in the market 24/7. Your main objective should be beating out Bitcoin. It is the thing that is going to make you a more successful trader, is going to make you happy in the long term when you focus on it, because your whole objective, I think we all obviously believe that Bitcoin and cryptos as a whole are going to go up. If you believe Bitcoin's going up, you want to try to beat Bitcoin. That's the main objective as a trader. You want to beat out the momentum that's already going up. And if you can do that, you're going to increase your Bitcoin purchasing power, and you're going to also hold a lot of great projects in most cases.
And the one thing I've learned in my 6+ months has been, don't chase the coins. I still catch myself almost doing it myself, but there's a lot of coins out there. Don't chase them. You'll get burned. You'll spend more time and effort and money and stress getting in and out of a coin trying to catch up on something you missed.
No,
Yeah, I'm still a believer that being an emotional trader is probably the number one, if not number two, cause of losses in this market.
No, yeah. The whole thing is trading's it's a game that you need to literally, in order to succeed, you not only need to build a strategy. I say that's one component. It's strategy that's very, very flexible. What PyCon's saying, it's very true, guys. When you're trading, an investing game, the game of investment, it can be slightly emotional. You can be really attached to projects because you've done a lot of research, you're in it for the long term, and you're not moving in the market a lot. When you're trading, you're making a lot of movements very quick, and you need to follow strategy, and that has no room for emotion. There's no room for it. The only reason why, if you guys watch my videos, for example, there's some people who do a lot of advanced technical analysis, and there's some people who benefit from that. But the thing for me is that I trade off of very simple principles because I understand that this market is very emotional as a trader. I step into it knowing that I have my simple strategies that work for the most part. I don't have to put a lot of effort into it. It's not mind-numbing as excessive trading can be. And when I do trade, though, I've done a strategy that I've been able to mold and reflect on over the course of the past few months in crypto, or actually, sorry, more extensively over the past few months, but I've really been trading crypto for quite some time outside of that. And along with that as well, my 7 years of experience in traditional markets. You can take a lot of those lessons learned over there, and you learn that a lot of the things have to do with just following a simple strategy and cutting out emotion. If you can cut out that emotional aspect, you will be ahead of so many people. If you write down every day, I think the best thing to cut out emotion in a market is to really be disciplined in writing a journal. And if you make a mistake, if you make an emotional trade, mark it down and mark what really caused that emotional setting. I hate to use the term, what triggered you to actually go out of your way and initially make that move, And I used to do trading journals when I was younger. It seems silly, but I can tell you it pays off in the long term. And now I don't need to write things down because I build a really good mental factor on memorizing what I mess up on, and I'm able to factor that into my whole kind of objective strategy. So you should always be learning, always be criticizing yourself, be your biggest critic. And from there, you can really...
Yeah, I definitely recommend the trading journals. I've started doing that. I've become way less emotional when I'm trading stuff. Posting on TradingView, just the fact that you can't delete the trade. And if you make a bad one, you have to look at it and learn from it every time you go on TradingView. It's so helpful.
Yeah, no, Coleman's actually
I saw some people on YouTube when I said EOS future, $80 to $100. Some people were like, "Holy cow! What? No way!" I'm not saying that's going to happen in 30 days, 60 days, or even this year. That's year and a half, 2 years out. If they deliver on what they state, if they do what they say they're going to do, if the mainnet launches, bringing all the DApps over, then.
Well, I gotta say, PyCon, I don't think you're too far off on the 10x. It's just what you're betting is if you believe it's gonna 10x, you're obviously betting that it's the next Ethereum. Like the whole thing about hey Chef, you got your mic. I gotta mute you.
Sorry, my bad.
No, you're good. But anyways, in regards to with EOS, the question is if we think it's going to be a steady competitor with Ethereum. My philosophy is not I would say probably. Not too far off from the idea that EOS is going to be not the Ethereum killer, but it is going to be a Ethereum contester. There is going to be, in my opinion, around 3 to 5 protocols outside of Ethereum that come up in the next major bull cycle over the next year's worth of price action. And as we see more retail and institutional money come in, you're going to have actual real steady competitors. It's not a lot of this speculative BS that's getting tossed around the ICO space right now. You're actually going to have some serious scalable players, ones that offer the opportunity for easy onboarding, flexibility with smart contracts and dApps in regards to languages, APIs, fixing the Oracle issue. We're actually going to start seeing some use case come out of these things. And if Ethereum can't scale and deliver, you're already seeing it. It's kind of like in the case of... I'm trying to think of a good comparative example.
CryptoKitties.
Yeah, CryptoKitties is a good way to really visually put it there. The thing I said after CryptoKitties came out, everyone was laughing at it, and I'll be honest, I got a good kick out of it. But what I thought of was in a business sense. If I were a part of the Ethereum Foundation, a major corporation that's helping to funnel money into the Ethereum Foundation, explore into the technology, and I'm putting my time, resources, and employees to look into this, and I see that a collectible kitten game that is on the blockchain is clogging up the entire network I'm investing my heart and soul into as a bet on the future of the next revolution in technology. It makes you think twice as to whether or not this is really going to be as big as some people are claiming. And I think it's not the issue of so much blockchains. It's the issue of what we're saying blockchains can do, and then also building blockchains that can actually deliver on said things, that they actually do well. And right now, we haven't seen blockchain scale very well. We haven't seen, some system in place that is looking to really foster an ecosystem that lasts long term and also has a actual governance system. EOS is looking to do that.
EOS.
Yeah. Yeah, EOS. I mean, it's genuinely what it's trying to do. And Dan Larimer building already 2 relatively successful projects in the cryptocurrency space, or at least leading them. I think he's well positioned to be one of those contesters. I think it's going to very well contest with Ethereum. But this is one of those bets again, where you're kind of in the equivalent days. You're looking at EOS. I don't think it's going to go up to the level of Ethereum, obviously, because you have pretty much 10 times the supply. But these are the equivalent days of seeing Ethereum or I don't know if it's exactly 10 times, but I would say seeing Ethereum around $50 or $60. Some people started to get a little bit interested in it, but we really didn't see the big run up until what we saw in obviously December and January, where it reached its peak valuation at like 1,600 or something. So again, I think we're in the very, very early stages, very early on stages of EOS's development. We haven't even hit mainnet yet. When it hits mainnet, we'll have to see what happens. But in this case, I think there's a lot going for it. It's one of the top serious protocols that are actually looking like they might deliver. And because of that, it could be Ethereum. Excuse me. An Ethereum contest.
There's definitely a lot to look forward to, which is good from a trading perspective.
Yeah.
There's a testnet of EOS, and they ran Space Invaders on it.
They ran. Oh, really? Did they run Space Invaders?
Yeah, you can find the video on YouTube.
That's pretty cool. I'll have to. Yeah, we should definitely go check that out sometime. Testnet running Space Invaders.
Zimla, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, but market caps are flawed, and as far as how we calculate them currently.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, PyCon. There's a lot of big issues with it, and it's not always a steady way of meaning valuation. But let's see. Nick said, basic attention token cup and handle form. Let me know what you think, sir. All right. This is generally showing. I think I get what you're going for. Again, I can't read your mind from your comment, but I think you're recognizing a general cup and price and a handle. The fact of the matter is, though, is that this had an opportunity to really start moving up after the handle, but it doesn't look like it's doing that. Not negative on basic attention token, and I like, if you notice, these big candles of volume coming in. Definitely interesting to see. I haven't kept up with BAT for a while, but yeah, you want to see a kind of volume like that pop in somewhere over here as the price is holding on this 50-day. If it continues to hold there, yeah, I might consider a potential trade on this, but I've got to see some volume come in and hopefully another level of support or another day or two of support on the 50-day moving average to confirm the upside. All right. I'm gonna have to get some water here in just a minute, guys, because my mouth is getting dry, and we'll probably wrap this up around 10:45. But we've still got some time, a good 25 minutes here. Let's see here.
Yeah, one guy asked you, Nick, what you like. I guess the best here: Icon, Cardano, EOS, or WAN.
So Icon, EOS, or WAN chain. Were those the three?
And Cardano.
And Cardano.
You had that in there.
Different perspectives. Cardano is going to be another one of those 3 to 5, I think, that are going to contest with Ethereum. But the thing about Cardano is it's not going to have much to show during this next year. The reason why is because Cardano itself is a massive long-term play. This is not something that people are buying to hopefully deliver in a year. This is something that over the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to see finalize and develop, in my opinion. I love Charles, again, just one of the most practical guys in the space, in my opinion, amongst the cypherpunks like Dan Larimer, Vitalik, and a few others. But the fact of the matter is, Cardano I like as a long-term play. I don't try to trade. I play the market cycles. I'll definitely, if I find an opportunity where Cardano has multiplied many times over and I think that there's too much hype or over exponential growth, I would trade it and play the cycles. But for the most part, it's a long-term play. In regards to EOS, I think this year it's going to continue.
EOS, we beat the hammer on.
Yeah, we beat the hammer on EOS. You already
What do you think of?
Just let me answer so for the question real quick. There's a few others. WAN chain. I think WAN chain's a little bit overhyped. The fact that it's a fork off of Ethereum. I think you need a little bit more than that. It's kind of like when what was it? I can't think of it. I think it was Polychain that came out, and they're the platform that was going to do securities tokens, but they didn't even have their own blockchain at the ICO. They're just running off an ERC20. And the fourth one as well was Icon. I think Icon is very well positioned more than any other protocol in the sense of partnerships, and it's in one of the best countries it could be in, which is South Korea. That's my general consensus on all four of those. I like Icon. I think Wanchain is still going to be a great momentum play no matter what over the next few weeks and possibly months. I think Cardano is a long-term play. I only trade it during the big market cycles to increase my position. And then in regards to, what was the first one? Oh, EOS. Or EOS. EOS, again, is going to be something this year that's going to be a nice play. So let's go here. We got a few donations here. Alex says, encryption thoughts, great project, DNA. I don't know much on encryption. I apologize, Alex. Haven't looked into it. Raphael, wouldn't EOS need to launch their network secretly, or people would just attack it on launch day since it would be cheaper? The thing about Raphael, the reason why you can't attack EOS's network like that is because of its consensus mechanism. So it's not running off of, now if you did proof of work, yeah, that would probably leave them very vulnerable if they don't have a lot of miners on the network. But what they do is delegated proof of stake. So they have 21 elected delegates on the network who are selected and voted on. I think, oh, sorry, selected, they're not so much voted on. They're selected by block one at the initial start. And these 21 individuals not only usually have a large stake of EOS from investing in the ICO or through allocations they were designated, but are prominent figures who help develop in the ecosystem, who are trusted individuals. So it's a different system. It's a different level of security. If you believe that that's an unsecure method of running EOS or a governance process on consensus, then that might be an issue. But in the case of attacking the network, it's not going to be set to the same vulnerabilities of a 51% attack in the mining network. You would need to convince more than half of the delegates to mislead the network, and at least to my knowledge on how DPoS works. But anyways, you guys can go ahead, definitely share your opinion on what Raphael said, because I think that's an interesting point, what you guys might think about DPoS. If not, you guys can just talk a little bit about what you think about EOS and stuff, but I got to grab some water real quick, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, well, with EOS, I mean, over the last 20 or 30 minutes, we've really beat it over the hammer. So... Thoughts on Tron versus EOS? Justin Sun is something. I'll give him that, but I'm not a fan of Tron.
Announces announcement.
If designated proof of stake isn't fully proven for decentralization.
Delegated proof of stake is not decentralized, right? So this is like one of the big things that people hate about Neo, right? But I don't hate Neo. I mean, all crypto projects, to an extent, have a form of centralization to them, right? Not all. There might be a couple that are truly decentralized, but all of them have some form of a centralization aspect to it, including Bitcoin. Bitcoin has the miners. So the miners, in a sense, are the
trustees, the people you have to trust.
Picon, I'm gonna interject there. With EOS, I reckon the processing part of it is really centralized, but decision making is like decentralized because you vote for the block producers, kind of like a actual government system.
So you guys been talking a little bit about DPoS. Let's see. So Raphael says, if DPoS isn't fully proven for decentralization, it's going to bust because voting can be a vulnerability. Yeah, some people. The whole argument though is it's kind of like proof of stake for an actor. Not only is it very difficult to kind of convince all of those individuals to work against the network.
Dan Lahman said that he wants EOS to be community driven mainly. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I think. Well, it is. I think
now,
it's.
Some people are getting bad in chat data about not addressing the BTC crash.
Oh, okay. Is it still going down? Oh, oh, okay. Never mind. That broke below the 50-day.
We did address it towards the very beginning. I mean, this was expected. I was saying I'm expecting 8K, possibly less.
Yeah. No, this looks
It's,
like a.
it's just part of the market, right? We were going up, there was no volume, and the go ups not compared to like, in the past. So we were going up with low amounts of volume. Those buyers are going to die out, and then the people who need to sell are going to start selling. It's going to push the price up.
Yeah, you're seeing the only real money come through OTC, guys. It's the one fear we generally talked about. To be fair, I thought we would have held the 50-day, but in this case, I mean, once you've broke that, guys, you're most likely going to break through 8,000 in that case. Doesn't mean that crypto's over, but at the same time, we have corrective periods. Yeah, taking a look at the hourly, volume's not dramatic, but it is definitely coming in. It's enough to push price because I think it goes back to Proven PyCon's point. It's such a low liquidity space right now, like as much as 2,000 Bitcoin in 5 minutes on Bitfinex is a decent amount of volume. We've seen larger amounts in the past. It's just, there's outside of that though, you have a few Bitcoin being tossed around on the 5 minute. These huge sell candles just come in and they clear through the order book. So very interesting.
Everybody's freaking out in the chat.
Kareem says Nick is shilling H2O water. Oh, that's funny. Guys, I can tell you I'm not getting paid by anyone to shill this fantastic water, which I recommend everyone tries, because everyone who hasn't drinking water has died. Fact. Let's see here. Kevin says crypto is dead. I think we'd be seeing much more sell side if crypto was dead, but yeah, it might mean that we have some room to drop here, guys. Not gonna lie.
Can I bring up cryptocurrency project in Sydney?
What's it about?
I've noticed, like, I'm going to university right now, and there's like a bunch of like cryptocurrency organizations and stuff, like Bitforward and stuff. They're like startups and stuff.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's good to hear. Now, Australia's got a
Like,
lot.
I'm just like bringing up the adoption or the awareness of it around the world.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, no, I went through Boston, for example, and there's like at MIT, they're doing a lot of great stuff to get blockchain and cryptocurrencies out there. But in Australia as well, I mean, I went through Sydney and Melbourne, and in Melbourne they actually have a blockchain center there. It's like an actual place you can go to. They will do things all the way from helping people get set up with wallets to teaching people how to program and actually build blockchain applications. So it's really cool to actually see like a community place you can go to, and a very, for example, I always talk about this with DataDash. It's like everything's very intangible. Cryptocurrencies are intangible. The community is intangible. I don't see people or like see faces outside of my world tour or doing conventions and conferences. So we don't get to see that much or communicate with people on a real human-to-human basis, which is needed for this to really expand long-term. And I think things like that are important. University level groups and hopefully courses in the future. And then also local meetup centers, community areas where people can meet and learn about these things and not be intimidated like they are when they have to go online and learn about things.
UC Berkeley is very good. I'm in the club Blockchain at Berkeley. Even though I'm not a Berkeley student, they let me join, which is very nice of them. They're very open, and then they'd also there's a lot of cryptocurrency related classes in business finance for UC Berkeley, and just seeing that in Berkeley and around other colleges around the world, it's very nice to see like the communities growing and helping people to learn and stuff.
That's nice they let you in, yet even not being a student. That's impressive.
Yeah, by the way, DataDash, if you're ever in San Francisco, you need to talk at Blockchain at Berkeley. I'm sending that.
All right.
I'm in the UTS Cryptocurrency Society, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
UTS? Cool, yeah. No, I think it's awesome to see it happening at the university level. That's where like you're seeing the free speech movement really break out at university. You're seeing, in this case, crypto and stuff start to come up and stuff. A lot of positive signs at university, even though I can say a lot of negative things about university, but it's definitely shown that there's a lot of positive signs as of recent.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's see here real quick. So everyone's focused on the FUD right now.
Yeah, everyone's focused on Bitcoin, and this goes back to 20, 30 minutes ago or whatever. You cannot be emotional in this, so don't let it get to you. Don't even worry or think about it. It's
Yeah. See, people are. Yeah, I'd be interested to see what happens when this hits 8,000 because I have a pretty good amount of confidence that'll hit even, and we'll see if they can clear through the order book. Let's see how thick that order book is. If we zoom out a little bit here, okay. So okay, I can't even get it here on TradingView. We'd have to go to the actual exchanges, but we can do that real quick if we go to Bitfinex. Bitfinex, we can actually probably do GDAX and get a good picture of what it's generally looking like. Yes, let's leave. All right, let's go to GDAX, the exchange, which for some odd reason didn't let me pass my KYC, which was annoying as hell because I was actually going to trade on this exchange. All right, so we're taking a look at, this is Bitcoin Cash. Why is it? Roger Ver must have paid for this shill. All right, let's see here. The actual order book at 8,000. So yeah, you got a pretty decent stack up around the even of 8,000. Nothing too dramatic though, I gotta say for a biggie. Okay, well, it definitely jumps up from 48 or 29 Bitcoin, but not a big line of defense at 8,000. Gotta be fair about that. So if you start getting a clear through some of these, I understand it's not the volume we saw back in December and January, but that's not too much Bitcoin to really hold up that wall. Any one of those big sell candles coming in will easily clear through all of this, as well as that 300 wall. So got to be fair in regards to that. Might be the case that we've got a little ways to go. I guess the chart looks pretty good here for Bitcoin. We just got to get it on a lower denomination.
a lot of people in chat too just generally seem to be asking about Neo.
Yeah, here's the thing about Neo, guys. I have, like, for example, I communicate with a few other people in the crypto space, and one person I always go to for Neo is Brad, Blockchain Brad. So we were just, it's funny, we're talking about Australia and everything just a few minutes ago, but he's one of my favorite other YouTubers in the space because he's not only genuine, he's a really nice guy. I've talked to him personally multiple times, but he's real, he does his research, and he keeps up to date with what these protocols are actually doing. And he's the man behind Neo. Like, that's what people know him for. Everyone always thought he was shilling for Neo. He wasn't. He just really loves the project. But the thing about what Brad told me is he's like, look, I still love Neo. I love the ecosystem. They're building it up. And that's what really sells Neo. It's this idea that they're actually fostering a massive ecosystem of cross blockchains of different factors. You've got ontology, which has gained a lot of traction. You've got the element of gas and Neo being the underlying asset behind the chain, the kind of, in a sense, ownership of the ecosystem, whereas you have gas, which is more of the actual currency. That's a big misconception people have. So there's a lot going for Neo in the long term, but as of now, just doesn't work. Like they're still trying to get the structure of the nodes set up on the network. It's just not there yet. It's I don't know. It's a late comer to the competition with Ethereum, and it's a player that could step into those 3 to 5 protocols that I think will come up over the next few years as a contester. But it for me hasn't shown any real signs that it's scalable to the levels that it wants to be, and that it's locking in any really big ICOs on top of the protocol, outside of a few others like Pixio Chain that I like and stuff, and a few others, but nothing too serious.
Well, I found. Nick, did you see the Neo exchange, the Switcheo?
Yeah, I have heard about Switcheo. Yeah, I saw the
gas. Mm-hmm. It's got gas, Neo, and what's the? I guess it would it be one of their new ICO, EFX?
I wonder if they have Red Pulse on there.
Nope.
I don't have Red Pulse.
There's another Neo Dex coming out shortly too. I'm not even going to try and pronounce the name, so I'll just give the picture. But it's APH.
APH. Okay, cool. Yeah. No, I think I like the effort to do a DEX with a decentralized exchange with Neo, and I think as more of these protocols like Neo and a few others like Neblio. And what are some other ones that are actually having the ability to do tokens on top of the network, like ERC?
I wonder how
EOS as well will be another one. Once you have more of these come out and they have a lot of tokens on top of it, obviously you're going to have decentralized exchanges for it. But right now, for example, what you're mentioning, Chef, with Switcheo, The problem that I see with
Yeah,
it right now-
Switcheo, I've used it a couple times, and APH's wallet is really nice, especially compared to like the Neon wallet.
yeah, that's the biggest issue with Neo. And
Philion?
Neo does not
Sorry.
have a nice wallet. Like from the times that from the times that you've used Neon, I've had so many bugs and issues with it. And I think part of it also has to do with the Neo network. I've had times where it's down, and that's really scary. For in the case of Bitcoin, which is pretty much continuous, full around the clock network. I can tell you, I wouldn't want to have dozens of DApps, real DApps, running transactions on a network that's going to be up and down. So. It's early.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Chef, you might want to push the talk.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's no issue, Chef. No worries. But yeah, no, I think PyCon, you bring up a good point in regards to the fact that it's just a genuine concern at the moment. Yeah, a lot of people. Josh mentioned A-Chain. I've been hearing lots of people mention it. I was looking into it actually about a week ago, but I've got to do a little bit more look into it before I actually make an opinion. All right, we've got Raphael. Neo isn't Byzantine fault tolerant and has 7 little nodes. Yes, that is the issue. Raphael's bringing up is that there is we talk about centralization of nodes on Bitcoin, and I think people are worried. When we talk about block size increases going from 1 megabyte to 2 megabyte, what's that going to mean for the nodes in the network? It's not going to mean anything, especially compared to something like Neo right now. Neo is centralized. Yeah, boy, I mean, man, if you want to talk centralized, it is. You have to understand that when you're looking at the node structure. The Neo is not trying to shy away from that. They understand that they're going to be a little more centralized, still decentralized in a sense, but they're going to be relatively centralized so they can scale faster. It's just how they're operating. That's Neo's core objective. They want to have a sense of more control. Now, this isn't so per se bad centralization because they have individuals. It's kind of like delegated proof of stake where you're delegating nodes on the network who have not only a high vested interest in Neo financially, but along with that as well are high represented corporations, groups or entities that have to do with the Neo network. But again, do you want to leave a lot of big centralized powerful institutions in power of something even though it has an incentive to protect the network? Might not be towards the whole decentralized future we're talking about. But we'll have to see how it develops. Again, it's an early network. But like I said, even though it's early, I don't want to be working or building something on a protocol that is for months and months not even having a solid foundation, and where I'm seeing things get shut off, where the network closes down sometimes, or might not even have a steady governance system or a steady structure of nodes. That's the thing I'm worried about. Let's see. Kareem says, my grandpa's always asking me what I'm doing on my phone. He says, I'm buying Bitcoin, you peasant. Try not to burn fries at McDonald's when the dollar is useless, old man. Kareem, that's terrible. Oh my god. All right, guys, I'm going to take about 1 or 2 more questions here, and then I think we're going to call it a night. But after that, we're going to hop over to the Discord. So, again, if you guys want to hop on there, love to see you there. Love to have you on the Discord and get a discussion going. But we'll go ahead here. Alec asks, am I the only one buying? I wouldn't bet that you're the only one buying, because usually after, if you look at the 5-minute chart here, after a decline, where you get Bitcoin down a few $100, some speculators and traders come in and buy on these dips, especially the smaller retail investors who, again, unlike these sellers, will clear through the order book. But where is the Bitcoin resistance? Matt, it was at when Bitcoin hit 2 times at the 200-day moving average at $10,000, and that was a pretty clear sign that we might be due for a decent correction of some sort, which we've been feeling for the past, at least we had for the past week, and these past 2 days have been relatively shaky. Chaos asks, do tokens have actual value, like a stock share, or have value in another fundamental sense, or are they often a greater full theory investment? Example, e.g. morph tokens. All right, well, Chaos, towards your question, it depends on what type of token you're building. So there's generally in line 2 labels for tokens. You have securities tokens and you have utility tokens. Security signifies ownership. Okay, securities usually go in line with things like stocks, for example. You have equity or ownership of something. if my token is off of a protocol that expects a profit throughout the ecosystem, that it's going to produce something that I'm expecting a profit out of it, that would be a security token if it's ownership of that individual ecosystem. In the case of a utility token, I think of something again. Oh, here comes DataDash shilling. Watch out, guys. Substratum, for example, one of the clearest utility cases, and I think a very good example of a successful utility token, which is one where your network is providing a specific function, okay, and the token tied to it is the blood of that ecosystem or that certain kind of network. So in the case of Substratum, it's the decentralized web. It's web hosting on decentralized nodes, and Substratum itself is used to pay to host websites, to host information on there, and to broadcast it over the network. And then people earn Substratum as well. So the whole incentive structure is that you want to host nodes on the network and earn Substratum so that other people can host websites, and they demand that Substratum. So there builds a market demand for it, and it funnels through the ecosystem very healthily so that the system runs. So it's very, very interesting in that case. But I think that's a good example of what a utility is. It's the blood of that ecosystem or that network. And in the case of security, it signifies ownership of some degree. Alrighty.
So Stratum launched their mainnet, right?
Yeah, they have the beta out right now for the nodes.
Oh, the beta.
I'm going to be doing a video tomorrow or sometime this week, if I can't find the time tomorrow, where I'm going to showcase how to do a node on the network. So it's really simple. I think it's a few steps. You download it. It's a one-click. Turn it on, turn it off. And some of the cases for it have been absolutely fascinating. Again, I was talking about it today in my video, but I want to emphasize why I did, because it feels so rewarding in a space where there's so much talk and so much hype and so much not only misleading information, but a lot of misled. Sorry, I'm trying to think of the right term. A lot of unkept promises. That's a great way to put it, I think. Where there's a lot of ideas being sold, but nothing tangible, nothing awesome and meaningful and game-changing. And Substratum has now produced a technology where in China, where you can be censored out of the one option you have, VPNs. VPNs are getting shut down in China that actually can breach through the firewall to keep you from getting to basic websites like Facebook or Google and just using the web freely. Where I can easily have someone in China run the Substratum node, download it on their computer, and through me running a node on the network, they can hop over and I can send requests, or I can fulfill requests that get sent over to me and provide the flexibility of someone in China or in Russia or in Iran to access any website they want. And it doesn't even need to be on the Substratum network. That's the powerful part of it. That's the powerful factor, that this is now a technology that can breach the firewall, whereas we were struggling with VPNs. It's an adaptation when there is a need, and I think they've really fulfilled that, guys. I really think they have. And also as well, many people want to host websites on Substratum to fight censorship resistance. There's a whole really interesting concept around it. But yeah, again, they delivered. That's what's nice about it, guys. It feels so great to have supported a project early on, and I know. Here you go. He's chilling, guys. But I think it's become a meme at this point, because I think we realize that it's done very, very well, and I'm very happy to have been a supporter of it from the beginning. All right, so gotta answer this question real quick. Ivan, thank you very much. Hi, I'm from Russia. Our community has created a Telegram channel where we translate your videos into Russian text for peeps who don't know English. Ivan, that is awesome, and well, thank you first for the donation, but second off for spreading the DataDash word to the Russian community. Very, very nice. I really do appreciate that, man. Much appreciated. I know a lot of people have asked me to do translations and stuff. On YouTube, usually the translations are done automatically. Sometimes the text-to-speech, it's gotten much better over the years. They can usually pick, not text-to-speech, the audio recognition has gotten better on YouTube, where they can predetermine what the individual's actually saying and translate it, but it's not always very clear. So, Ivan, you're doing
They've got
work.
AirPods that'll do that now.
What did you say?
And on to the Substratum thing, still a couple other projects that are similar in scope, I guess, would be like Shift and
Skycoin.
and Sky, which, anyone doing something similar to what they're doing, especially like Substratum, is really good, I think, long term.
It's a use case that works. We've seen it in the beta node right now for Substratum. Like, people were streaming through Netflix, and they literally turned the node on and off, and it would stop, and then it would turn on, and they were streaming perfect 1080p quality. Like, it's a tangible product for something that is so important And I mean, what better fitting like use case for blockchain than fighting censorship? Like that is what blockchains do. That is, I think Richard Hart hit the nail on the head when he was talking about the important factors of Bitcoin, what we need to defend. The name of the game is censorship resistance, making sure that we can, as individuals, resist the censorship of central authorities and of third parties or any other entity, and especially with something so important like the internet. I think that's where Substream's going to come in and really, really wow the public on the potential of what it can offer. So, but anyways, let's see here. I'll answer one more question, then I think we're going to call it a night here. Vince, no problem, Ben. Thank you very much. John F. asked, Nick, do you speak any other languages? John, for a short period of time, I was learning Spanish back when I was all the way in high school. But no, I do not speak any other languages. Would definitely like to. For a while, I wanted to learn Mandarin. That'd probably be the language that I learn if I learn one. But yeah, I'm going to stick with English right now. That's pretty much all I got at the moment. But I definitely, I appreciate it when other people are multilingual, and I definitely hope to become multilingual. The sad part is that when you get a little bit older, it's definitely, unless you throw yourself into it for a few months into the country of that language, you're not going to learn it that well in most cases. So, oh, real quick, Ivan did a real quick donation, and thank you very much, Brad. I appreciate it. I'm in New York for a while and have to pass on to you a souvenir from our Russian community. You are a very busy person, but please PM Discord. Ivan, I'll see if I can make it to New York during Blockchain Week, but we'll have to see. I don't know about that, but I do appreciate the gift. If I can make it out, I'll try and PM you on there. If you can, PM me on Discord, and I'll try to get through it. But anyways, guys, I think I'm going to call it a night for the live stream. But before you sign off, as always, we don't want to end the discussion here. Hop over onto our Discord, type an ! Discord into the chat, and you guys can get a link to the Discord, or go into the description down below. Click on it, create an account. It's free. Nothing's really exclusive except for things that you earn through the community. Everything's out there for you guys, or at least the things that are active right now. So feel free to hop in there, chat with the community, learn some things, ask some questions, make the community alive, and again, be a positive influence in the crypto community, become a part of the DataDash family. Guys, I want to thank you guys not only for joining into the live stream, but I want to thank our guests for the first time on Discord, PyCon, Colm, all you guys. Thank you very much for hopping in, as well as you, Chef, and a few others, and hopefully we can do this more in the future. Did you guys enjoy it?
Yeah, this was really fun.
Yeah, thank you for having us. It was a good time.
No problem. Again, good having you guys. Yeah, definitely. I think we should do this in the future and stuff on the live stream. Makes it a little more interesting. It's an echo chamber when I'm in. It turns into an echo chamber when we're only shilling projects that people put in the comments. But have an actual real discussion is definitely nice. All right, guys.
Yeah, I can come prepared next time. Bring some stuff that I want to talk about.
No. I think we did good. I definitely, yeah. If you can come up, we'll come up with some topics. I'll try to do that before live streams. But yeah, I think it was good just to have other people kind of starting a discussion, because usually it's just people asking, Nick, what do you think about this coin and stuff, and the live stream can get dull real quick. So that was cool. We had some great conversation, guys. Hope you guys have a great rest of the night. I'll probably see you on the Discord. But for those of you watching the live stream, thank you all so much for watching. It's a pleasure as always. We went over for almost 3 hours now. Jeez. All right, guys, get some rest. Hop in the Discord, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay tuned.